All right, folks, just getting started here, getting some things lined up a little bit. Do a little editing of the title and stuff like that. Oops. Just getting started here, getting some things lined up a little bit. Holy smokes. A little editing of the title. Test. All right, still going here. Yeah, I'm just trying to work through a couple things here before I get started. Thumbnail, please. Come on. All right, almost done. Trinidad will be joining us in a minute. All right. Give me a let's see. There we go. I see you. All right, cool. All right, can you guys hear me? Just all right, cool. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Trinidad will be on in a minute. It's first time using this background in Zoom. So messing around a little bit, trying to learn some better stuff. Looks like I kind of screwed up on Trinidad's name thing a little bit. You can hear. Okay, great. Well, we can get started. Trinidad will join in a minute or whenever we can. Okay, very good. Sound bad? Let me get some more volume on that. Audio. Let's take it up a notch here. All right. Is that good, everyone? Okay, here we go. Yeah, typo. Oh no, where's my typo? Hey, in Trinidad's name? Trinidad. Oh, wrong ones. Those are my reading glasses. I can only see certain things. Oh, your typo. Oh, thank you. Okay. I have plenty. I was misspelling Trinidad's name earlier. So I'm also want to keep a track on the Zoom here for waiting for Trinidad to come in. But let's get it started. So far, nothing. We did have Joe Kelly yesterday. I did throw out a quick video of that. Hopefully that was it was actually fun to make. I like Joe Kelly a lot. As you can tell, the big thing is we see all these redirections. So we'll take Soto for a moment. Juan Soto of the Padres. They say the Yankees and the Padres are locked. They're deadlocked, whatever. And that's speculation. I mean, some of it, maybe because of Heyman, because he is connected with Soto's agent, the amazing Scott Boras, and he is amazing. That maybe there's some issues, they're just trying to work through those things. The Yankees know that Soto's not going to re-sign with them. Then you've got now all of a sudden you see, they throw out that the Blue Jays are in on them and they're trying to make a move, and there'll be another team that drops. And some of that's just, the agents and the teams using the media. They're just trying to they're trying to set themselves up to look good. I understand that. And that's okay. I think that when you try to do it, you got to be a little careful. But you notice the Dodgers, I don't think they're playing that game at all. I think where they're at is they're just going, hey, we work quietly, and that's what they do. They don't like to leak. There are other teams that do leak. That's just the way they work, and it's just, well, it is the way it is. I'm doing a quick little check here for some stuff. Live. Do I got? Yes. Okay. I've got the right thumbnail going now. That's good. And I know some of you, I think Casey might still be wrapping up on his stuff on Dodgers Daily. So appreciate coming over. I know he was doing some cool stuff. I try not to watch too much of it because I'm we're trying to steal from each other. To be honest with you, that's the way it all works. But so the Dodgers, let's talk about that. So all of a sudden we see this tweet come out that says the Giants are in on Yamamoto and they're going to go as high as they can for Mr. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So yeah, whatever. And now it's, Joseph Kim, the Nightwing guy, is rooting for the Giants on, and I don't know what, if it's Ohtani or for Yamamoto. I know he's thinking that they Padres get the lead guy, the center fielder from the gosh darn it, from Korea. Let's see, Ohtani, have a bad feeling he's going back to Anaheim. Yeah, he could. Okay, yeah, it was yeah, I heard he was going to do some cool video and stuff. I know, and it's cool because I think Lux gets, almost absent, just because he was gone for the whole year. We forget about him, but just by adding Gavin Lux, the team is going to be better offensively. The question is going to be defense, and can he move with his leg and all that? And I just hope he is healthy. That's the main thing. If he's healthy, I have a ton of confidence that Gavin Lux is going to be a really good shortstop for the Dodgers, and that we're going to be able to see him do what he was ready to do, that I think this last year. And then I think the question then becomes, how much does Muncy play at third? Right now, he is the full-time guy. And then what does now with Mookie allegedly being the main second baseman, at least against right-handers, what is, that means that, when the lefty is pitching, does that mean now all of a sudden Vargas is a second, a platoon guy? But they also said that, this is from Brandon Gomes, that they're having Vargas work at second, third, and left. And then the reporter said he just assumed, this reporter, that Bush would be doing the same. So there's still hope of getting those guys playing time. And really, it's whoever has the bats is going to get the playing time. I think that with all that Jason Hayward has an advantage in that way, in that he's the veteran, and they'll give him a lot more leeway than Vargas or Bush. So hoping that changes. Yeah, I think that it's really one of the topics I want to talk about is getting that mix of players to go, okay, how do the Dodgers win now? And then also stay sustainable. And I honestly think it's cash. Straight up, it's money. They've got the money. They are one of the big boys. They should just spend. Again, not my money. Trade Bush, keep Vargas for left field. You know what? If that means that Michael Bush gets to play more, I'm all in on that. I don't want to trade him, but I want him to get playing time. I think they do need right-handed hitters, because if you go around the lineup right now, and I'm making an assumption that Ohtani is the DH. So you go, first base is a lefty, shortstop's a lefty with Lux, Muncy's a lefty, Outman's a lefty, Hayward's a lefty, Ohtani's a lefty. That's 6 lefties in the lineup against righties. You got to do something. So if you throw Bush in there, that's another one. Then we got another one that says keep Bush, trade Vargas. But there's got to be, they need some balance. Hayward's not going to be in there against lefties. And I am my skepticism about Hayward is that it's going to be tough to repeat what he did. And he had a nice year. People made some good points. Hey, you wanted Rosarena, but Hayward had kind of a better year. Well, also Rosarena played full time against all pitching. Hayward was, they cherry pick where he's going to go with the platoons. And then the other thing is, Rosarena has a proven postseason playoff record. If you look at even 2020, of course, and then he was still good. He's been good pretty much in the playoffs. Sure, I don't have the stats in front of me. And then the last thing is that even in the WBC, he was a star. So he's not afraid of the lights. Jason Hayward, go look it up. The playoff numbers are not that good. So that I just leave it there. I'm interested. If I'm in charge, I'm interested in making sure that these last few years of screwing up in the postseason, 3 out of 5 years where they've lost in the NLDS, can't happen again. It just can't. Or people need to get fired. That's just the way it is. Nando, hey, why so much hype on Lux coming back? Yeah, no power in the terrible glove. I think there's power there. But I think he's a guy that's going to hit in, the 280s to 310s. And I think there is some power there. Just, it's not, Mookie Betts power, but I think there's 15 there. And the glove, he does have a history with the yips. If you know what the yips are, it's where you just can't throw. And so he had issues with that. And that's legit. He did have that. I had the yips when I was in high school. A loved one of mine also had the yips. So the yips suck. But he hasn't had it really in quite a long time. So I'm hoping that as a shortstop, he can play well. But that is my question too. But at the same time, you can go, well, he could play the first 7. Okay, Trinidad's coming on. All right. All right, waiting. So he's ready to come in. Cool. So Lux, the glove is the biggest question for me. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that J-Hay thing. Again, I like him though. I don't not like him. It's one of those things, where you go, I hope he does well. I hope I'm wrong about him. Vargas had a real shot in MLB and he was horrible. Give Bush a real chance. Do remember though, that Vargas was playing with, he busted his finger or his thumb and really never recovered. So I'm going to give a little bit of grace there. So I think he needs another shot. Let's see. Should have signed Gurriel over J-Hay. I'd just go. I want Kike over J-Hay. Where is he at? Okay, Katrina's connecting. But Gurriel too. Yeah, good player. Let's see. Is he in? Okay, he's coming in. Where's he at? There he is. Make your picture bigger. There he is. No, do it the other way. There you go. Bingo. You got it? I'm going to try to make this a little bigger. Make us all the same.
There you go.
You got it? There we go, man. Hey, I like the new setup here. What do you think?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm going through the chat a little bit right now. Lots of good. There's already a lot of chats going on, which is cool. If you want to, you could pull it up also. Maybe you'd have to have another device to do that. Let's see. So welcome Trinidad Loaiza. I noticed you changed your Twitter handle. I kept looking for your other thing. I'm like, where is he, man? Make it big. So it's good, man. Pro.
I know, right?
So hey, we haven't chatted much. We just texted a little bit. What are your current thoughts about what might be happening over the next few days in Nashville, Tennessee?
Well, I mean, we keep hearing about Dylan Cease a lot, which is, I mean, obviously that's their Dodgers' number one target as far as we know. I mean, then we got the Randy Rosarena and Tyler Glass now rumor going around as well. I don't think that the Dodgers are no longer in on Bobby Witt Jr. right or what was his name, Bo Bichette anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that vanished quite a while ago. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
so
it's
I mean,
kind
I
of weird.
don't
It
think
just it showed up for like a day, and
right.
then we grifted off it, and then it's gone.
Yeah, and then now we got now there's the Willie Adames trade again going around if they go after Corbin Burns, but
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like the only big news going around right now is that Shohei may end up signing as soon as starting next week
yeah.
or this week coming up, actually.
Sooner the better, man.
Yeah, we don't want to wait till February or literally the day before spring training starts, like Bryce Harper and Manny Machado were going around.
Yeah, I think that I've been I used to be one of the guys on Twitter that would do the thing of going, "Oh, I'm worried about their payroll and this and that." I'm done with that. Time to spend,
Right.
man. Getting blown out of
No,
the
yeah, you're
playoffs
right.
2 years in a row.
I mean, honestly, I mean, yeah, it's kind of getting a little. I mean, we have us as fans are kind of already over it. I mean, especially first round, I guess teams that get eliminated right there and then, especially us being favorites for God knows how long now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, now it's time, obviously.
Yeah. What what are your thoughts on uh on Gavin Lux? Because I know Casey over there on Dodgers Daily is doing a thing on Gavin. I know some people are concerned about him. Do you have I mean, I know you don't know his medicals, but I mean, you saw him play probably a lot more than I have at shortstop. What are your thoughts on him as a actual shortstop?
Uh, I mean, he can cover ground. That's so basically when we found out Gavin Lux was going to take over that shortstop position, I guess you can kind of say it's more of a little bit of an upgrade than Corby Seager, besides the bat, obviously, as far as
Mm-hmm.
defense goes. So obviously, we know Gavin Lux can cover ground, and I mentioned this in recent, talks that we've had before, where I think that when Corey Seager went down the last year that we had him, Gavin Lux, pretty much filled in for him, and he did really well as far as fielding, covering ground,
A lot of
which is his
ground,
natural
yeah.
position. Yeah, so that's his natural position. And I mentioned it before that reasons why Gavin Lux struggled a little bit at second is because it's a different arm angle that you got to throw
Mm-hmm.
from second base to shortstop.
Yeah.
And I mean, so obviously, but then Gavin Lux proved us wrong, towards the end of I think the year before he got hurt, that he was starting to swing the bat a lot better. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that kind of helped us, have a little bit more confidence in him as far as being our number one shortstop.
Yeah. You know what? When I was in spring training, I was there less than a week after his injury.
Right.
And I remember seeing him over in the corner of the clubhouse, this massive brace on, man, and just felt felt so sad for him, man. Here he is, finally getting a real chance to play shortstop, and it literally his knee blows up on him. So yeah, I mean, did you ever see him have problems with his throws? Those yips and all that stuff when he was at Rancho.
I don't think. Well, I mean, completely honest with you, I didn't really see him as much in Rancho as far as I got to see other guys.
Okay.
But I mean, I got to see him more at second. Obviously, as me have being a little bit closer to Dodger Stadium and stuff like that, and you can easily tell that the throwing angle was a little bit more kind of not bothering him, but it's kind of like frustrating for a natural shortstop player moving over to second base and having to do that
Yeah.
throw a sidearm.
Yeah, I think people underestimate how hard it is to switch positions. And that's why guys like, Kike and CT3 are such a blessing to have. Or even Mookie, right? The guy comes out of
Right.
right field and he's playing second base and he played shortstop. I mean, he was much better second baseman than shortstop, but I think people don't understand how difficult that is.
Yeah, I mean, people can obviously second base is like an easy position to play, which I mean, in a certain if you look at it in a certain degree, it kind of is because I mean, you're only maybe 30 feet away from first base where you got to make a play and things like that. But sometimes you got some people don't understand. Like second base may have it a little bit tougher as far as knowing your runners how quick they are to the bag, as far as like that. So now sometimes you may have a natural second baseman who's gonna rush that throw, and then it makes it harder for a first baseman to pick those balls and things like that as well too.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was a few throws in 2022 that were a little questionable from Lux, but it was just you can tell, it's usually that one where they're heading over towards first and their body
Right.
is going one way and they still got to make that throw, kind of as their body's moving left, they have to make that throw to the right, which is really never a play that you see at least at that angle at shortstop. The angle is like much more drastic. It's like a 45 to 70-degree angle on that throw
Right.
versus a shortstop. It's like, oh well, it's just it's almost a 90-degree, and it's you got some room and yeah, just it's a different thing. And yeah,
I
some
mean,
guys
the
can
way
do it,
people
but
gotta
yeah, go
most
ahead.
people got to look at it this way. Second baseman's got to throw sidearm more like a pitcher would throw sidearm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the way I people have to look at it, because you may have that grip on the ball, and sometimes you may have no grip, and now you're throwing like a changeup towards the first baseman as well too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because shortstop, you're basically getting a four seam grip, and just you get to get your arm back a little bit. Even though Lex really doesn't bring his arm back that far, which is another thing, right? When he's a
Right,
shortstop, he almost kind of it seems like he short arms it a bit. Not that it's a bad thing; it's just the way he throws. But at second base, he can't. He's not throwing from here, like you said. He's throwing from the three-quarter sidearm position all the time.
right.
And he's much more an over the top guy.
That's why if you ever notice too, a lot of like it's like converting a catcher to a pitcher, or maybe in an outfield. You never see any of these guys throwing over the top. They're all short arm.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah, no, it's kind of weird how like Kenley Jansen is such a unique, different guy when he went from pitcher to catcher or catcher to pitcher. He's such a long arm pitcher, but you go look at his throwing as a catcher, it's just so different. And I even remember there's a few guys you can tell a catcher when he pitches. You can just tell he's a catcher, not just on his
Right,
build, but the way he throws. Like when Butera threw for us, like in 2014, we had a guy a couple years ago, Zach. My brain just Zach Plunk. You could just tell that they were catchers the way they throw the
right.
ball.
No, yeah,
Um,
you're right about that.
and even what's our guy Sar and Lau, right? He
Oh,
throws
that's right.
a little bit, you can tell it's like you can tell he's kind of new to pitching. And
Right.
and so yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's just different, I mean, let's see, the chat has kind of died on us. That's kind of interesting. Usually it's pretty good. I don't know what happened. That's all right. They just dying to hear you, man. They miss you. Um, yeah, I mean, so yeah, we're kind of going over looking at the lineup possibly with Lux coming in as a lefty in the lineup,
Right.
and just I'm gonna and I like I did with the chat. I'm assuming Otani's coming. So if you go all around the diamond, Freddie's a lefty,
Right.
Luxy, Muncy, Outman. Oh, what was that? I got some love there.
There
Outman,
you go.
Jay Hay, and Otani. That's six.
Right.
So, and I think Lux might have a huge impact at the plate. Nothing against Miggy Rowe. Love Miggy Rowe, especially his defense was beautiful.
Right.
But I think we got a guy that could really make a difference
I
with the
think as far
bat.
as when Gavin Lux comes back, it's probably more about his speed as well, getting on the base
Mhm.
pass as well, things like that. So he was going to be our natural leadoff hitter probably when he
Yeah,
was going to take over that shortstop position. So I mean, then if you move back Mookie, to the second spot, then you got Freeman, and then possibly Otani hitting cleanup.
right.
So now you got all. So now you got
Yeah,
Muncy back there.
there's been people in the chat have said put Lux at leadoff. which I'm like,
which is understandable.
yeah, I kind of, it's just, will they, can they get Mookie to, you know, give it up
I just don't
and
naturally see Mookie as a leadoff hitter anymore.
yeah, I'm with you. I mean, first of all, there 39 home runs,
Right.
right?
So if you move him back if you move him back, a couple spots in the lineup, then
Yeah.
you have give him more of a chance to hit more RBIs as well as too.
Yeah. And then he doesn't have to worry about as much about, doing stuff on the bases either. He
Yeah,
is,
take that pressure off of
I
him.
mean, he is what? He's 31 now. Not that
Right.
that's old, that's for sure, but it's still
These are all
wear and
guys in their
tear.
primes.
Yeah, there's wear and tear on these guys. Okay, hepatitis C later says, when you guys think Otani's going to sign? I think it's going to be soon, and I think it's going to be with the Dodgers.
I think it comes in with either at the end of this week coming up. Because I mean, he's in Los Angeles. I know they already mentioned that
I
he's in
know,
LA meeting with teams. So I mean, that's already a possibility that he's already making his decision with those teams already.
right? So hepatitis C later. Here it is: Lux, Freddie, Mookie, Shohei, Smith, Muncy, Altman, Vargas, Bush. Ship it. Let's go.
Yeah, I kind of actually like that right now. As far as him mentioning Will Smith hitting right behind Otani though, because you
Yeah,
can't have three lefties hitting in a row.
right. Yeah, you'd have it gets a nice mix in there.
And not even that kind of gives, since we know how Muncy is at the play as far as discipline and getting his walks as well, as far as aside from the batting average. I mean,
yeah.
now you're giving a chance to your 7, 8, 9 hitters to get drive in some guys as well too.
Yeah, and I think bringing up Muncie, we know the patience, right? And
Right,
it's cool. And it's a gift. It's a gift to be that patient at the plate. But there's a few times this last year where Muncie was really pushing it, and all of a sudden he wasn't using his gift. When he's using his gift at being he's a better umpire than the umpire most of the time. When he's
right,
doing that, he's so much better than when he's trying to swing at a 3-2 pitch outside the zone, which is like he did
right.
that a few times. It was shocking where he was swinging at pitches outside the zone, which is not his game.
There was a couple, I think, weeks or so when he was pressing it a little too much though
Mm-hmm.
at the plate. I mean, because then we saw that he was starting to hit below the 200 line, but then
I
he
know.
finally got it back up. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's just, I mean, with time, I mean, then again, baseball is not a game where everybody's perfect. If it was, I mean, everybody would be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it's just kind of willing it. Okay, so okay, tatted guy from the block. All right, says so. Have the winter meeting started, or does it start at a certain time? They're all there right now in
It
Memphis,
all
or
starts,
not
I think,
Memphis, not
tomorrow.
Memphis, Nashville. Well, there's already stuff that's been going on. They get there on Sunday. They do some stuff. They had the Hall of Fame announcement. Congratulations to Jim Leland, but everyone being there is they can get rolling. I'm sure they're already doing their thing. I'm sure Friedman's got his white robe on already, so he can do his thing, or in his water bottle all set, so that like I said, so it's time for Friedman to cook.
Right.
This is it for him. I mean, not that they're gonna fire him, but he really needs to. I think this is the biggest spring or biggest off season they've had since after they got hired in 2014.
It's very going to be a very interesting one as well too, and more exciting for us Dodger fans because we have the money. They have the money. They have the prospects let go of guys to get guys that we need. But I think the only part is that as far as them trading guys, they're going to be a little cautious of what they're getting as far as team control for the next how many years, and then obviously
Yep.
what they're going to be letting go of if they're willing to let go of certain guys in their farm system as well too.
Hmm. Oh, this is interesting. There was a tweet a few days ago. There was the baseball ops guy that followed by a lot of Dodger coaches and management, and he tweeted something about Otani. And it says this baseball ops, and he actually had a contract laid out and everything. hasn't happened. So it says, Michael says that baseball ops guy that tweeted that Otani deal is supposed to speak at the meetings because he's trying to build his own network and company. Hearing
Right.
Otani to the Angels, boy, I hope not. I wouldn't. I mean, let's be honest. Wouldn't you lose respect for Otani if he went back to the Angels? I know Ryan Fowler would love it, but wouldn't you just go, "What are you doing, dude?"
As
Because
far
you,
as from a winning, I mean, from a winning standpoint, yes, you're gonna
yeah,
be like, well, why are you going back, kind of thing. I mean, the only thing I can probably maybe see him wanting to go back is obviously they're cleaning house as far as their coaching staff and things like that.
yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I could see. But I mean, you still got the same team, same front office, everything. So it's not like it's going to be a big change in that organization anytime soon.
Yeah, and the same owner. That's the main thing. Let's see. So to go, because what I talked about earlier was, trying to, build sustainability, but winning now. And so one of the
Right.
ways you build sustainability, of course, is you keep your own players. And so like in Hepatitis's lineup, so Lux is homegrown, Smith is homegrown, Muncie's almost homegrown, but Outman, Vargas, Bush. So that would be five guys that would be homegrown
Right.
in the lineup.
Correct.
And then in the pitching rotation, obviously Bobby Miller is going to be in the rotation. Pepio should be there. Sheehan should be in there. So there's three core guys in their starting rotation right there. Let's see. So let's see. Otani.
Possibly even four if Gavin Stone's in
I
that
know, yeah,
rotation as
yeah,
well.
but I think those other three should be surefire things based on what they did. Here's one here. Otani and Yamamoto people are saying they signing next week. If that's the case, that moves. What moves the Dodgers do before then? Also, the 40-man roster is currently full as well. No, it's not. It's only at 39. The Joe Kelly and Jason Hayward things are unofficial. They'll wait 2 weeks before they make those official. That's not a worry. I don't worry about that at all. Oh, Doom Sal says, how mad is everyone going to be if the Dodgers only sign reclamation project players again? People are going to be pissed, Sal. Oh
Oh
my
yeah, easy.
gosh.
I
Because
mean, if they try to do that,
people were pissed, really pissed after last year, and even more after this season. It
right?
would be really bad. Grizz Monster 73, and I agree with this. Issue with homegrown pitching is it's all right-handed. Yeah, because I mean, down you got Robleski and Bruns are the lefties that are down. I mean, they're down further.
Yeah, they're still below Double A. I think there's even
Mm.
another guy they have that's a lefty too.
I know. I know. My brain's freezing on me.
Yeah, but there is one more because there's three guys, but two of
Yeah,
them are actually low below Double A.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. None of them are ready.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's true, and that's why I like the idea of a Jordan Montgomery, the Imanaga guy, getting. I like a little bit of balance. I mean, and it's kind of weird. I think the lefties in general. I mean, the lefties in the bullpen. I'm kind of eh.
right. No, yeah, definitely right.
It's like, but I think people would be legit pissed. I think that would I think some of the shine has come off Andrew Friedman, and I like the guy.
Right.
I've had a good interaction with him. He's a really nice guy, but I think Doc got a lot less heat after this playoff thing than he has before, and more of it is turned towards why did management force this? Kershaw. Why did they have Peralta, who turns out had to have like reconstructive surgery or whatever? Why were
Well,
those
that's the
guys
thing, though.
playing?
Well, that's the thing, though. I think Dave Roberts should have taken less of a heat this season because, I
It
mean,
did.
if you look at really what he really did, as far as let's just look at it this way, from beginning of opening day all the way to the
Mhm.
end of this past season. I mean, we only had one guy that was originally in the opening day start, which was Kirsch.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
then
know.
everything started falling apart after that. And then,
Yeah.
it went complete down south. But I mean, then if you really look into the playoffs, he really knew how he was managing, knowing the fact that he only had maybe one or two guys actually two guys, because it was Bobby Miller and Kershaw that had pitched, in that postseason. But
Yeah.
everything else after that, he knew how to manage to keep them in check,
Yeah.
within winning range. But
Yeah. He
definitely the
did.
lineup just didn't come through.
Right. He did a good job. Frankie G had just turned on. How long has it been live? We've been about 35 minutes almost. Let's see. But Trinidad joined what, about 10, 15 minutes ago. Let's see. Had a guy from the block. Who you guys prefer? Burns, Glasnow, Cesar, a free agent pitcher like Snell? I don't know. For me, given all those guys, I want the free agent. Actually, I want Yamamoto.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you said Burns, Snell, and who else?
Cease.
C.
Yeah.
I
I,
mean,
I just,
I would take Corbin Burns because he's probably and then Blake Snell. There are only two out of those three that got playoff experience. I don't even think Dylan
I
CC would
know.
pitch in the postseason, right? I mean,
He
to my
may
knowledge.
have, but it was not memorable, obviously. Because the White Sox were in like 1 year, I think, in the 60 game season, COVID season.
I thought they
Um,
were in 2 years ago,
they
2021, and
might
then
have
got
been,
blown
and
out.
I just don't remember. But one thing, and I did a show, I think a couple days ago. I don't want to trade Pepio or Sheehan. Obviously, Bobby Miller is totally untouchable, but I don't
Right.
care for any of those guys. I don't want to trade Sheehan or Pepio. I think there's just too much high. They need pitchers in 2024 that are
Oh,
healthy,
definitely.
and those guys are there. Now I could see trading some of the guys below. Especially you got to trade. You got to make room for Landon Knacker. You got to trade him. Dude's 27.
Right.
That's
That is true.
insane.
I mean, as far as even the pitching standpoint goes, they're gonna have to let go of some of these guys, regardless to get whoever they're gonna want to get.
Yeah.
Especially like for example, if it does go down with like let's just say for example between the Brewers or the Rays, as far as them getting Glasnow, Rosarena, or Burns
Yeah.
or Adames, they're gonna have to let go of like maybe at least two top pitching prospects just to get one of those guys out of over here.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have to be more of a, Stone. And because Stone's the next guy, but maybe but you got to keep those other guys. Let's see. Here's another one. Dodgers resigning Kelly J. Hay is a bad sign. They penny pitching again. I don't think so. I think with J. Hay, Freddie wanted J. Hay. They're going to keep J. Hay. Joe Kelly is one of those guys, and we don't know what his contract is. He's going to miss a third of the season. So
Easily
yeah,
injury.
yeah. So someone's going to get a shot in there. But it's really going to come down to if they start, if they would have been, if they don't get two healthy guys on the free agent market that are good, and it can't be, oh, we're going to get Giolito and, I can't, there's another guy kind of like Giolito. You can't get two of those guys. You get one of them, but you got to get a stud. Let's see. Giants with the highest bid for both Otani and Yamamoto per insiders. Maybe I would agree with, especially with the Judge and Korea attempts. Yeah, they went hard off those guys, but the Dodgers didn't believe that Judge and Korea were the right fits, or they might have gone hard after them. Let's see.
They would have been fits only for some scandals involved. But I mean, as
Yeah.
far as anything else, I've said it multiple times. If it came down to them signing Correa, I mean, it would have been a short term, high
Yep.
80 and probably 1 year opt out, probably. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like we're going to see him a lot here in LA, anyways.
Here's Doom Sal's list. I like this one. Yamamoto, Imanaga, and Glasnow. Wow, he wants three starting pitchers. I would definitely. I'll take two of those three for sure. I just don't want to give up Sheehan or Pepio in the Glasnow move. That's for sure. And I bet Sal would agree with that. Sal, by the way, he's written an article for everyone on Dodgers Daily. Sal, please feel free to put it in the chat, a link to your article about Yamamoto, because he's been actually watching Yamamoto more than probably most of us. Yamamoto and Otani's even realistic. I doubt it. I think it is. I think the Dodgers they got money.
Right.
I'm not worried about their money. I'm not going to even worry about that anymore, because once the whole Trevor Bauer thing went down, they had to pay him. The whole idea of salary luxury tax relief is gone forever, or at least
Correct.
for the next 10 years. So I don't care. Let's see. Would I trade Bobby Miller for Julio Rodriguez? No. Not that I don't like Julio. Would you do that?
Nah, I
Oh,
wouldn't even I wouldn't even think twice of letting him go
yeah.
anyway.
Need the pitching. Um, Friedman Horde's prospect. Yeah, and he does, and he needs to let some guys go. It's only fair. Oh, Craig Osterberg. Hello, Craig. Good to see you. Sal wants Montgomery. I like Montgomery too, and either Imanaga or trading for Lizardo. Lizardo too. Yeah, Lizardo from Miami, and then Scooball from Detroit. Even though I think Detroit, I don't know if they're willing to do that stuff. Detroit might be moving closer to being a good team.
Well, honestly, and it looks like it now also too, as far as that, because they've also, I think they were third or fourth actually, as far as teams get calling up all their prospects into the major leagues.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know what Dodgers led with like 14, 15 guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can only imagine what
They
Detroit's going to be
did.
doing probably within the next few years as well too.
Yeah. And they've, unlike the Dodgers, they've had a chance to draft, in the top five every year for the last few years. So
Right.
they should. Can you imagine how good if the Dodgers just had one or two draft picks in the top five? They
Oh, that
would
would be
crush it.
insanely. Yeah, definitely.
They would just crush it. Um, well, what do you think the Dodgers do in left field? What do you think, man? I mean, we don't have Peralta. We haven't re-signed Kike yet.
I mean, I would probably end up probably having Michael Bush play left field. I mean, that's the only other option if you
Mm-hmm.
want to keep that bat in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing too, that he's a lefty.
I know.
So then
I
you'll have
know.
seven guys in that left, hitting lefty in the lineup. So I mean, regardless, the guy's good. That bat is just insane.
Right. Yeah, last year when Casey and I were doing our Dodgers prospects report, we talked about leaving left field open.
Right.
And then they went and did the Peralta thing. I don't want them to do that again. Oh, Grizz Monster says DeLuca. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's another guy too. But
Yeah.
we have to see how healthy he's gonna be because he's going down with an injury at the end of last season.
Yeah. Was that I think it was a hamstring, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't even remember anymore
I think
now
it
as far as
was. Oh,
like that.
Taylor will be in left field if held. Yeah, Taylor is in the mix. And if they re-sign Kike, maybe. I just the
But see, now,
my main reason
speaking
to re-sign Kike, to be honest, is I want Max Muncy in after his last at bat, like in the seventh inning. I want him
right.
to sit, and I want Kike to play third because I think Kike by far is a better third baseman than obviously than Muncy or Bush or Taylor. I mean, Taylor's better
Well,
than Bush and Muncy, but I think Kike is the best one. Let's
well, I
see,
mean,
Adam.
obviously, CT3 and Kike are literally our best middle
Yeah,
infielders because those guys were shortstops.
I know. Yeah, they're good. Let's see. They're saying DeLuca 2020, possible 30-30. Yeah, I agree. Here's the one, Adam Duvall for left field. I tell you, man, I thought that was going to happen in July.
Well, a lot of people thought that was a lot of people thought that he was going to come over to LA as far as because they were interested in him,
I know. Yeah, Doug
like
and I talked
completely
quite a bit
interested.
about that. Yep. Let's see. Taylor, bench player, he can't start every day. And I agree with that. I don't want Taylor starting every day. I want him to be starting 2-3 times a week, filling in, pinch runner, pinch hitter, defensive replacement, things like that. Sal says, I hope they sign Kike and trade Taylor. You didn't want to sign Jock. I wanted Jock,
That's
but
another
then
one.
when they sign Hayward, though, it's like, oh man, that just
Kind of
kind
takes
of
off. Right.
yeah. I like the reason I like both Kike and Jock is they are October players. We need October players.
We do, but then again, too, we don't know how they can, how long they'll last. I mean, how
Yeah.
well they're going to be doing during the season,
Well,
anyways.
well, and or not Grizz Monster right here says, yeah, no donut monster Jock. That's a problem with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like putting on 10 pounds every year.
But see, if you really think about it, too, even well, actually, no, I should take that back. I was going to say when he was in LA, he was staying kind of like in average as far as being in shape, kind of thing. But then never mind, I take
Yeah.
that back
He
because
no he
after
but
he went down.
yeah, I think though he did it was becoming noticeable when he went with the Giants.
Yeah, no, it became more noticeable actually.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like so when 2017 was Jock was having his big time postseason.
Right.
Some of my friends of mine, hey, Jock looks like you. Um and now he does look like me from back then when I weighed a lot more.
He's the new panda of that team of the Giants, honestly.
Man, he needs, if he could get in better shape, more likely to have him. Foolish Baseball thinks Tyler O'Neill's going to have a bounce back year. Yeah, I know, man. Tyler O'Neill's a good one from the Cardinals, that big monster
Right.
guy. Yeah, Michael's been in on him for quite a while. Yeah, and then this guy says that's why I think the Rays trade makes sense. Glasnow and Randy Arozarena, because Randy a postseason monster. Yep, I think they do need to collect some postseason guys, because I see it this way. If you go, okay, it's not all Mookie and Freddie. We got guys that are going to step it up. They just
Right.
because if one of them gets hot, it's over
Right.
for the other team. It's
No,
just
yeah,
over.
definitely. Well, I mean, if you really look at our lineup this season, this past year, I mean, the only guy that had a decent postseason was Will Smith. Honestly, he was the only
Yeah,
one getting on base and hitting the ball hard.
yeah. I know Kike and Taylor did okay when they got the opportunities, but they only had like 4 or 5 at bats.
Well, that's the
But,
thing, though,
but
because then
Peralta
that
had
year,
more, and Jason Hayward had more, because they were those old guys, and we got to go with the platoons and all that bull crap that I thought they were avoiding when they let Turner go. I was
right?
going, I'm just, you don't play guys that are not producing. This is a good one. Get Lane Thomas from the Nats. Yeah, he's a left. He crushes lefties. Craig, I was watching Muncie Homer against Giants when he hit in the ocean. He was in good shape. Now he's overweight. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Muncie has gained weight. And we've talked about it on the chat before. Both Jock and Muncie, they got married, they got kids,
the dad
and
bod.
yeah, they're getting that dad bod. So they got it to save their careers. They need to step it up. They need Steve Douglas offered his services on our center fields thing to Muncie to go train him for free. So, and it would work because Steve's way older than Muncie and he's in way better shape. The approach not the hitters has been our postseason failures. There's something to that, yeah, and I think Grizz the approach gets jacked up because they're not thinking correctly and they're letting the moment get to them. That's my theory. Hashtag
Right.
not a psychologist. Hashtag definitely not a professional baseball player. But there's things out there that talks about that, about how it's not that the guys step up to the moment, it's everyone else steps down. You don't get better. You don't just get better
That's
because
true.
it's a playoff game, but you get worse because you're not able to embrace the moment like a Rosarena does, or Kike has learned to do. Kike used to not be necessarily the best primetime player. Then in 2017, he hit those
Yeah,
3 home runs. But even in 2018, he wasn't that good. But later, 2019, he homered in that game 5 off Strasburg.
I think that was at the turning point for him after 2019. It started getting better because then even when he did go that his only year in the playoffs with the Red Sox, he crushed
Yep.
it.
Yep. Let's see. The approach on the hitters. Does the Dodgers need to look at their scouting team? Seems like the Dodgers haven't been prepared the last few years. Yeah, definitely in 2022, they got caught with their pants down because the Padres basically pitched them completely backwards than they had during the season. So, and they didn't adjust. And I think in part, I
But if you
don't
look at
know.
that 2022 team, they just played hurt also too. They
They
played
they
completely.
were hurt. Yeah.
They were damaged anyways.
Yeah, I mean, even in that last game, JT shouldn't have been even on the roster because he was so hurt. And then Lux was still hurt, and Taylor was in the
Right.
lineup, but he was hurt too.
Yeah, he had that. What is it? The neck situation
Yeah.
going on. Stiff neck.
Hey, so let's go swing the bat with a hurt neck. Well, that was Lux. No, it was Lux. I think had the neck issue. Maybe Taylor did too, but they're all hurt. Yeah, hitting and working pitches over slugging. Yeah. Um, the thing is, the Dodgers have a ton of scouts. They have a mix of old school and new school people, which is
Right.
good. I just think, I don't know. It is preparation. The last 2 years, and this is where I go back and I start blaming the coaching staff for what happened in 2023. 2022, they got caught with their pants down and they weren't
Right.
ready. And then it got worse in 2023. How could you have not been prepared for that?
But
What,
even then, too, even in 2022 and 2023, was it 2022 and 23 where they didn't even make hardly any trades in the deadline?
well, this year they got five guys. I mean, and they all, some of them were good. I mean, Kike worked out fine.
Well, I mean, besides Kike,
Rosario was good for a little bit, and it was for Syndergaard, so why not?
right?
Lance Lynn, despite Lance Lynn, yes, he just gave up another home run, everybody, but that dude saved the rotation. Remember,
Yeah, honestly, he was eating innings like crazy.
he ate innings. So that was actually an important move. Yarbrough was fine.
But
And
a
then
lot of these guys didn't even make
and
the
of course Joe
postseason roster.
Kelly.
That's the problem.
Huh?
A lot of these guys didn't even make the postseason roster, which I think they should have been in
That
there.
was
Like
weird. I thought Yarbrough should have made it for sure. It's like you needed that guy, especially when Kershaw has to leave at the third after a third.
and then also too, you had Ahmed Rosario, which I think he should have been in the lineup.
Yeah, the only reason he wasn't is because the not the Mariners, the Diamondbacks are all righties. That's why they did it. They too much the platoon, so it was Colton Wong who okay. Okay. Hope to hepatitis C later says Mookie will get better pitches with Shohei behind him. Oh, heck yeah. Shohei will unlock this offense in the playoffs. Yeah, because I don't know if you recall Trinidad, but he was really good in the WBC.
Oh, he was amazing in the
And,
WBC.
and in the
W,
and to be honest, the WBC to
it's a
most of the
playoff.
Japanese players is more important than the World Series.
Oh, easily.
It's
Because
for
you're
country.
playing for the country, yeah.
Yeah. And I respect that. I have a lot of respect for that.
Well, that's why what's his name Yamamoto ended up tweeting his WBC ring.
Yeah. It's a big deal to those guys. That means more to them than a World Series ring.
Yeah, but
Let's
that's how you
see.
know these guys left to win though too.
Yeah. Tata guy says, would you trade Dustin May? Feels like dude can never be healthy. He's broken right now. He can't trade anything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Doom Cell. Yeah. You're posing the question about the scouting. Yeah. I don't know, man. They have a lot of scouts. They have more scouts than just about any team. Doesn't, but hey, quantity doesn't mean quality. That's for sure. And they did get their, they weren't ready. But I think what I saw, at least what I saw is, Kirsch got lit.
Yeah,
And you saw in, the camera goes to Doc. The dude was stunned.
yeah.
And he did nothing. He let 6 runs happen. And then all of a sudden the guys come up to the plate down 6-0, and it's like they were dead. I mean, it's like you could see the body language, like Freddie walking back to the dugout like a 6-year-old kid striking out. And I love the guy, but man, they were just defeated. Let's see.
Our top 2 guys were defeated too. One for what, 22?
Brutal. That can't happen. Just can't. Let's see. Craig Osterberg says Robert seems to go with his favorites. Yeah, that's for sure. Doesn't adjust fast. Yeah, doesn't adjust fast enough to late inning situations. Example: Barnes pinch hitting in last playoff game. Oh, good lord.
Oh, don't remind us of that one. As much as I love Barnes and what he does for pitching stuff, I can't. Yeah, the plate is just not great anymore.
Yeah, that ain't it when your season's on the line. Frankie G. Yarbrough is great, if not for that 9-run game in 4 innings against the Rockies. Yeah, and that's against the Rockies. That doesn't count. He would have had a 3.10 ERA with his Dodger. Yeah, I'm really. There was talk that they weren't going to keep him. I'm really glad they kept him because having a guy that could just Yarbrough.
Oh, right. Okay.
He can just come in and throw. He's got that rubber arm throwing, hitting 86 miles an hour. So what? He just
that's the thing with a lot of these guys though, that throw slow. They know how to sneak you that fastball that it makes it look like it's 99 when he's throwing a bunch of junk.
Yeah, he's totally versatile. May could be turned into a beast of a closer and rescue his career. Yeah, that's my opinion about May. I think his mechanics are so brutal that's your only hope. Is him as a reliever.
Speaking of Dustin May and mechanics, you know who he reminds me of right now that you guys just mentioned him being like horrible mechanics? Jared Weaver status.
Oh gosh.
That whole lot of motion and then just all arm. That's exactly what it reminds me of almost.
Yeah, I think what's I mean, and how much can you really do about it? Because it's like that's how they got there. That's correct. to teach someone how to throw differently is really, really hard to do. So
Right.
yeah, I think May as a closer is the right thing for sure. And I don't expect him back next year. Maybe, but this is his
Probably towards
second.
the end of the season, maybe just to get some innings in and
Yeah.
then prepare him for the following year.
Yeah, and if they follow it right and have him go as a reliever, it's a different prep than as a
Oh,
closer.
definitely.
I mean, than as a starter. Because think back, and I'm going to bring up a bad subject, but Julio Urias in 2018, when he came back from his shoulder surgery, dude was a stud out of the bullpen.
Oh, easily. I
I mean,
mean, 100% on that.
didn't he get he got some key outs. I think
It
he
was
was the
that big
one
out that in
Taylor caught the
huh? Yeah,
Milwaukee.
that's the one. Yeah, where Taylor saved him.
Yep. But he was on the mound for that. And I remember his abuelita passed during
Right.
that time. But F that guy. Uh, such a bummer. Such a bummer. Yeah, man. There's so many possibilities this week. I can't wait. I mean, it's I'm sorry. It's the high holy week of the off season. You know.
Let me say it like this though: if it comes down to the Dodgers making a trade with Tampa Bay, and us, I know people are gonna probably maybe agree with me on this as far as anything else goes, but you know how much what's his name, Connor McGinnis has been really helping out these pitchers as far as
Oh
spin rate and
yeah,
things like that. If you bring in
yes.
Glass now, you can only imagine how high his spin rate's gonna be. And then him being more effective at the mound, even though he's already dominant enough, but he could be a legit number two starter for sure.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, and I think they've got to get a one or a two.
I mean,
Just
easily for sure, Corbin Burns and Tyler Glasnow are the
yeah,
only two guys that can make go off a trade.
yeah. And then if you look at it, if you go and here's the good news about that. I still think okay, so going into the season, Miller right now is the one,
Right,
and I got Bueller as two just because he's innings limited, but we
right,
know that he's the key. I mean, if we get that October Bueller back, we could win this thing. But then we got Pepio and Sheehan. Those
right.
guys also have ace potential. They're just not there yet. And then Yarbrough. Okay, so that's the five for right now. Okay, but you go, okay, now we plug in. We'll take Glass now in there, right? And
Right.
he doesn't throw a ton of innings either. But you go, well, why don't we just plug Glasnow in and make it a 6-man rotation? Because you're already innings limited on Bueller. Glasnow's, he's Glass. It's in his name. Let's see. Here's something from Jesus Fonseca. Sorry. They need to trade some players if you want to go for Yamamoto or Ohtani. Yeah, they'll have to just to free up some room, but I'm not worried about the 40-man roster yet. I think they need I think the free agents, you got Yamamoto and Snell are clear ones or twos. So do you consider Jordan Montgomery a 2, 3, or 4?
I see him more as of a three guy.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
only reason
that's
I say that
probably
is
right.
because I mean he didn't become a big time like I mean he was already like a potential for sure guy to be in your rotation, but I
Yeah.
think he stepped it up more knowing the fact how he did in the postseason. So that's the only reason why I say he's a three guy.
Okay. Yeah, I probably have him overrated in my head right now. I'd like to get him though.
No, easily for sure. I mean, the only thing is with Blake Snell is I haven't seen him go more than 5 innings.
Yeah, and
And for
that's
me, it's like you're already eating up. You're killing your bullpen, knowing you have to probably throw in one, maybe two or three guys after him because he
yeah.
just doesn't go past five.
Yeah, and I think and Carrillo says he likes Monty better than Snell. And one of the also the negatives about Snell, other than the fact he doesn't sleep because he's playing video games all night with Mookie, um, he um he benefited from really good defense behind him.
Right.
His strand rate was super high, and that happens when you have Hassan Kim and Manny Machado behind you, and Cronenworth too. Cronenworth, even as a first base, can't hit worth beans, but he's a good fielding first baseman, and Bogarts is average. So they had a really good infield. The Dodger infield, straight up, is not as good just by the fact we got Muncy at third.
Right. And I have said it multiple times that Muncy was not a third baseman.
Yeah, I proved that.
Easily. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy can swing the stick, but
Yeah.
I just don't see him as a third baseman. Period.
I do hope if they somehow they don't get Otani, they just put him at DH and find a third baseman. That's because your defense helps your pitching.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You
I mean, then
know,
again,
I mean,
but then what are the chances that they might actually re-sign JD Martinez though again?
yeah, Grizz Monster. Oh, me and Grizz Monster on the same page. With all the pitching injuries, I've been preaching a 6-man rotation since Kershaw's back injury started years ago. Yeah, I have an article that I wrote in Dodgers Nation back in 2019 about a 6-man rotation. It just makes way too much sense. And then you can narrow it at the end of the year to get ready for the playoffs.
Easily,
But
because a lot of you guys are already built up by that time.
so you would be saving innings on all these guys, and then
Mm-hmm.
then you go to 5 in mid-August or something like that, and then you just narrow it by a day, and do a little piggybacking here and there and stuff. But
I
man,
mean,
I
perfect
just think
example is 2021 when the whole rotation got dead armed actually because they got used up really
yeah,
well during the season.
yeah, I know.
So, yeah, I mean that it only makes sense that you have to start using a 6-man rotation with these guys.
Yeah. See, Osterberg says Dodgers hardly have any competent left-handers. Yeah, it's a problem. I'm not comfortable with Vesia, Ferguson, and Gonzalez in our bullpen right now.
Yeah, they just they're not reliable. Say it like
Yeah,
that.
that's the nice way to say it. Um, JD injury worries me to re-sign. Yeah, I would rather, if it's not Otani, like I said, I'd rather have Max as the
Right.
DH. Um, and I think, to be honest, I think he would thrive, man, without having to play third.
I think yeah, obviously for sure,
Because his best seasons were when he played first base.
easily 100%. It was those were his best times.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yep.
that's when after that we just started seeing the decline. I mean, as far as maybe the year after his injury, I mean, we already
Yeah,
knew that arm wasn't
that was so
well.
rough. Yeah, that was rough. He was never healthy in 2022. Oh, this is interesting. From Grizz Monster, Players Union complains that the 6-man rotation takes from starting pitching value. Yeah, but so do these. I mean, having pitchers only go 4 or 5 innings seems to also do that. But I
Yeah,
could see that. Yeah, well, because I think in general, the MLB would love to find a way to lower the value of starters because all you
oh,
do is
easily.
you compare starting pitcher salaries versus reliever salaries. I mean, a guy like what Taiwan Walker got 474 last year.
Oh yeah,
Come on.
that's true.
Let's see. This is a good question from Frankie G. Is Muncy a better third baseman than Vargas? If Vargas can hit to his potential, would he be an option or third or no?
I mean,
Um,
I mean, I could see Miggy being well. That's actually a pretty good one though, because I mean, I just think that Miggy has a little bit more defense in him than Muncy does.
my one thing about Mickey at third, I think he can handle most of the stuff, but he doesn't like those shots, man.
And I don't even think anybody like those shots.
Yeah, at Rancho, I saw that, and I'm like, oh, he don't want any part of that stuff. Put it this way, he's not going to be laying out for him. Oh, what do we see? What is the big news tomorrow afternoon? I haven't. What do you got, Sal? Give me something, man. You got a link or anything to show? Be cool. Do you think the Dodgers do anything in the winter meetings? Yes. Like they're going to do a lot.
A lot for sure.
I think I do believe. Oh, again, I've laid this out before. From the top 30 MLB pipeline, 5 of those guys are going to be gone by spring training.
Or maybe
That's my
even this week.
yeah. Could be this week, but
Yeah, it could be for sure this week they're going to be gone. Because if you really think about it, think of it this way: how many guys have we not talked about that are for sure, all for sure potential starters in another team for sure?
I
I
know.
mean, and a lot of these guys are starting to get up in age. And we've said it multiple times. A
Huh?
lot of these guys are already hitting that mid 20s mark where
It's
it's either you make it or you're gone.
yeah, it's not fair. Let's see. And this is a good one from here too. With Muncy starting to degrade his ability to hit lefties, which is very true. Makes me question about a 2-year extension unless you're trading him. Yeah, I think, but he gave them a real discount. So I think
Oh,
there's
big
a
time.
gentleman's agreement not to trade him. But I
Mhm.
think I do think that he is degrading a bit. And but if he's the DH difference or okay. Oh, you're asking my prediction for tomorrow. Oh boy. Something big's going to happen. It has to. It's one of those things. I remember in 2019 because it was in San Diego.
Right.
Each day, well, first of all, that was when it started to leak out about the Astros possibly cheating. That started to come out, and
In
then
2020, you're talking about?
yeah, no, at
Okay.
the winter meetings of 2019, there
Oh,
was some
sorry. Okay.
stuff about
Uh-huh.
that. But then, and I don't remember the exact order, but one day Garrett Cole signed, one day Rendon signed, and then one day Strasburg signed because that was
Hmm.
Boris doing his thing. I don't remember the
Right.
order. Let's
I
see,
believe
but I
it was
mean,
Rendon first because that was when he had the Dodgers were really high on him too, but then he
I
decided to
know
go.
he took the easy way out. I mean, well, the Angels, that was the dumbest thing. I said at the time they needed pitching at the time. They didn't need to be signing a Rendon. Offense wasn't
Yeah,
their problem. Just dumb.
it's still not is their problem. It's still their pitching.
I know. Winter meetings ends on Thursday. Tatted guy. Yeah, but usually it's basically done by Wednesday night because everyone's flying out on Thursday morning. They're waiting to get out and get ready to start. Get Christmas, Hanukkah, all that stuff going. If the Dodgers
Right.
don't do anything this winter, would you start to get worried? No, because I look at it this way, and they didn't do much at 2019 winter meetings, but in February of 2020
They did do something and it didn't go
they
through.
they did something and it took a week. Mookie
Oh, you're talking about the
Betts.
Mookie. No, but I'm talking about the other one. Remember with Jock and
Yeah, but that was part
yeah,
of that whole trade. That was
yeah,
part of the whole big trade. That was like be a 4-team trade. And then in 2021, I know it didn't work, but they signed Trevor Bauer. And then in 2022, they signed Freddie Freeman all in February. So
right.
I'm not worried about that, but I hate. I mean, this waiting around is just
No, no, no,
insane.
yeah. It sucks that we have to wait, but if you really think about it, Tim, the way I see the winter meetings, and if the Dodgers do anything, let me just put it out there this way for
Yeah,
all
throw it
everybody
out there.
watching.
Here he goes.
If everybody's watching, I think even if they don't do nothing, it kind of gives a perspective of what Freeman can do actually later after. Because I think he's going to take this time. If he doesn't sign anybody, he's going to see what's the value for or what the other teams are going to want for these guys that they're willing to trade for.
Well, and it's a good point also because if no one does anything, so if all the guys
Right,
are still free agents, it's not a big deal. But
right,
important to remember though, Yamamoto has only until January 4th, or he goes
right,
back to Japan, and then
exactly,
Imanaga has the 11th.
right.
So those two things, and then also I'm going to just say Hoon Lee. I get Lee, the guy from Korea. He's going to announce probably tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean um, that he will have a deadline too. So that's kind of a nice thing because it forces them. And there's been talk that Otani's kind of waiting to see what those guys do, or they're waiting for Otani. I don't know.
Yeah, but you
And
have
I
to think
think
about too. I forgot about pitching wise. Remember, the Dodgers are high in on that Venezuelan kid or that Cuban pitcher that's out there. Right.
yes,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
another guy we have to look out for too, because who knows if the Dodgers sign him first before anybody else or any team signs him. Just say
yes.
that.
Yeah, I think both Dodger Blue and Dodgers Nation. I know Dodgers Nation. Doug did something on him too. Let's see if the Dodgers don't do nothing. Dodger. So yeah, back to the being worried. I would be a little more concerned if there's a lot of signings and the Dodgers get nobody versus nobody signs. Then it's like okay, or someone that they don't care about signs, like the equivalent of a Taiwan Walker. Who gives a rip? Or
Right.
or a Target, even if it like Giolito signs with another team. Okay, great. I don't care. Um,
Right. These are
he, I,
just people have to think
he
of it this way. These are just guys that probably the Dodgers can fix.
yeah,
That's the only thing we have to look at it that way. It's not like that we're getting like a big superstar. I mean, Giolito's never. I mean, he's not that
he's
same guy.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean, the only thing the Dodgers can do is fix him.
and he needs to go to the Braves anyway because his buddy Lopez that he's been on every freaking team with is on the Braves. So I expect him to go to the Braves because he was on they were in the Ronaldo Lopez. They
Oh
were on the
yeah,
Nationals together, and they went to the White Sox, then they went to the Angels, then they went to the Indians. Sorry, Guardians. Sorry, folks. And
yeah.
now Lopez is on the Braves, so that's where he should go. Let's see. Dodgers will not make any winter meeting splash, setting up time for Friedman, not serving time. I don't know, huh? We'll see. I mean, it's so unpredictable. One of the things that we've seen with Friedman is he usually has a price and he's not budging. But I think
Yeah.
with Otani, he has to budge. And after this offseason, he has to budge. He can't afford to finish in second or third all the time.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the part where he officially like budges it. But like I said too, in the beginning of when I came on earlier, is that I think what it comes down to as far as them making a trade or things like that, that Freeman's going to be careful of what he lets go for the price that
Mm-hmm.
he's going to get back. Because think of it this way: when Giolito went to the Angels, Angels literally let
Oh,
go of their 1 and 2 guys, which Giolito is literally not worth one or two number 2 prospects for
that
sure.
was brutal.
So I mean, you have to understand maybe Freeman is gonna have to take these winter meetings a little more serious. But I mean, he's gonna go all out, but he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
see what he's gonna get in return for all these guys that he's gonna trade for.
Okay, Sal has predicted, and I like this one. I predict, this is what Sal says. I predict I will be buying a number 18 jersey with Yamamoto on the back by Wednesday. All right. I like what you're saying. I don't know, man. I'm a World War II buff. I don't know if I could wear a jersey that says Yamamoto on the back. I'm just saying. Um, uh, Rest in peace to Admiral Yamamoto, shot down by a P-38 in 1943. Let's see. What's your dream off season for both you guys? All right, Trinidad. What's your give me 2, 3, 4, however many or none. Maybe you want to stand pat as your dream off season. Give me your dream off season.
Obviously, everybody for sure knows as being a Dodger fan, we want Otani. That's a given. But if I have to go all out and saying it, if we want big time players to help this team go further in the postseason, give me Glasnow and a Rosarena for sure. Give me those two guys. I would love to have those two guys. And then another reason for it, like you say, we can build the rotation off with these guys with Glasnow, and obviously Rosarena is going to bring that spark out here as well too, and in left field.
Yeah,
So I mean, give me those two guys for sure. That would be my main priority in this offseason for sure. If the Dodgers can land those two guys for sure.
I know I'm all in on a Rosarena. That's for sure. So for sure, Otani for me. I have been convinced Yamamoto. I know that's a lot of money, and I don't care because it's not my money, and they got plenty of it. And then definitely a Rosarena. If they get Glasnow in that too, then that would be awesome. If they only get a Rosarena, then I could say, okay, let's just get Giolito just to have an innings eater, something like
Right.
that in the back. I just like I said, I don't want to give up Pepio or Sheehan because I know those guys have to be targets of other teams to go. I want that guy. I mean, there's Bruce Kuntz out there had provided some stats from another guy about Sheehan. He's got ace possibilities. Let's see. Frankie G, as Doug says, Andrew Friedman likes to buy us candy the day after Halloween. Yeah, no kidding. 50% off, right?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that's always tempting. Oh, Sal. Ooh, am I the only fan who doesn't want Outman? Oh, Tani. Okay, that is it. Outman. No, Amy Cuevas on the Bleed Lows podcast also does not want Otani. She'd rather get other players. And for me, it's not Otani or death for me. But
Right.
if it's not Otani, hey, we'd better be getting Yamamoto, and we better be getting another guy, and they better be making Muncy the DH and finding a way to figure out third base. At the end of the day, they got to get that pitching. Um,
It's more
but
so the pitching than it is anything as far as what your defense is going to look like, anyways. I mean, you can always plug in any player out in your defense, but I mean, it's going to start with the pitching rotation.
yeah, it is. And that's what, uh, still, even with that's losing that first game, they still could have won it if the offense would have done something. But Griswold says any righty acquired means you have to trade at least two of Sheehan, Pepio, Stone, or Grove. Yeah, but I can't trade Sheehan or Pepio because they are ready. They already contributed. They were two of their better pitchers by the end of the year. I can't trade those guys. I need them.
Easily.
Yeah, Stone or Grove, I maybe.
For
That
sure,
they would
maybe
have.
on those two.
Well, yeah. Let's be honest. If you're trading for Glasnow or Corbin Burns, you got to give up Stone.
Easily.
And I'm not budging if I'm the other teams. Um, Grove, I don't know, man. Is he a reliever now, or is he a starter?
He's still a starter. I haven't seen him come out of the. Oh, well, actually, no, he
He
did come out of the
did
bullpen
the
a
end of
couple
the
times.
year.
Yeah, towards the end of the year. But I think that's the Dodgers. They'd like to throw in a lot of starters
Mm-hmm.
into the bullpen to get some work in and things like that. So you already know how that goes.
Let's see. Here we go. I do have a question though. In the postseason, why do you think we lost the pitching or the hitters? Because I keep seeing pitching, but they didn't hit, and if they don't hit again, it doesn't matter, right? Very true. Yeah, we were just we probably skipped it on. We probably were ahead of you in the stream, but you know they lost that first game. Okay, great, fine. There was still those next two games were winnable.
Yeah, they were all winnable. The bullpen kept them in check. I
Yeah,
mean, it was the hitting. I mean,
yeah.
like I
The
said,
offense
go yeah,
did nothing.
go look at that lineup. Go look at that lineup. It was legit Will Smith who had
Yep.
decent at bats out of the whole lineup.
Yeah. I mean, if Mookie or Freddie would have had two hits each, two more
For
hits
sure.
each, they win this. They probably win that. Grove is a Gonsolin swingman at the moment. Maybe, yeah. And I don't know if Gonsolin
He's another
he's
one that's broken right
yeah,
now too.
he's really broken. Again, and I think his mechanics are so bad. I don't think he can be a starter if he's going to keep throwing that split.
Yeah.
That's just been trying to get a hold of Dave Stewart, the guy, because he's the
Right.
one that I talked to like 10 years ago about my son throwing a split and just about his regard for how you need to be perfect throwing that split or you're going to get hurt. And I think Gonsolin's mechanics, the way he kind of falls off to first base side and with that strain coming on, because it strains this
Yeah.
part of the arm and he's just all over.
Well, there
Yeah, I
was an
think
interview I saw with Eric Gagne because remember Gagne had that
mm,
Volcom and that split kind of in a way also,
yeah,
but he mentioned too that a lot of pitchers what they don't understand they kind of break open these two fingers and
yeah,
it's like it causes strain onto your forearm, so that
right.
would cause Tommy John and all that mess into your arm.
Yeah, Craig Osterberg says Grows a better reliever. Yeah, he also seems to gain a couple miles an hour.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to that whole pregame preparation. I
Yeah,
guess you could say kind of warns him down. So then
and
that's when he starts.
and I'm surprised the chat hasn't said it yet. So I get to say before the chat does is Kyle Hurt. I mean, he had that
I
one
was just gonna
game,
mention it earlier too.
but man, that dude in the bullpen, I think would just be nasty good.
100% will give a lot of boost into that bullpen as well too.
And we've talked before on the chat about, maybe doing some piggybacking. You go Hurt
Mhm.
and Sheehan or something like that. Again, just to limit, or with Bueller because they're limiting him. And I Bueller's the guy, man. You don't have a healthy Bueller, I don't think we have a chance. And be honest with you, Tony and May as long relievers would be good. I think. Yeah, I think May actually could be a closer. I wrote about this in Dodgers Nation again, 2019, that I thought Gonsolin was cut out to be a reliever, not a starter. Even though he's had some really good outings during especially
Right.
during the regular season. But I think limiting the exposure of throwing the split, not as many innings, I think would have helped him. But again, not an expert on that, just more of a speculation on it. But just and just knowing what I know, the people that I know, the people I've talked to about these things, just logically going, well, if the splitter's bad for your arm, but you have a good one, which Tony does, then you still want to be able to throw it, but you just can't throw as much. And that's kind of my logic. And with May, his mechanics are just wow. He's all
Yeah.
arms and legs. He's coming crazy at you, but he
Speaking of that Justin May injury, I was there that game where he technically that was it for him. But you can
yeah,
easily tell that when he was warming up, because you know how pitchers they warm up in the outfield with their
yeah.
bullpen catchers or anything, he was bouncing a lot of baseballs.
Oh,
So I already
geez.
knew something was already completely wrong. Because I mean, for a pitcher to do that in a warm up, especially back to back throws and things like that,
That's
you
on.
kind of
Yeah.
figure there's already something wrong there.
Yeah. Let's see. Grizz Monster. Every one of our rookie pitchers at least threw 30 more pitches. I think that meant not pitches, innings than ever had. That's a bit worrisome. It was, yeah. I thought that I was wondering if they would do that. That they would try to limit guys, but they just remember at the end of the year, man, they were throwing Bobby Miller 7 innings all the time.
Yeah,
They
they
were,
were trying to like build them up already towards the.
yeah. And the good with straight up with Miller and Pepio and Sheehan, those are big boys.
Oh yeah,
They're some of the other like Stoner's not as isn't as big.
no,
He's
I think
a
he's like little like 5'10", maybe six
he's a
feet.
little maybe a
Yeah,
little taller than I am, so he's not as big. Let's see. Sal thinks the Dodgers trade Hurt and Bones got. I don't know, man. I hope not. I think that guy and somehow is going to factor into 2024. But that's
yeah, because
what
I
to
think
But to be honest, that's why I want to sign free agents and not make trades if I don't have to.
right.
Because then you could be strategic in your trades going, hey, we're set with just again, let's just go Otani, Yamamoto-ish or Montgomery and Giolito. We're done. And then it's like, okay, now we're working around the edges for an Arozarena or a blah, blah, blah. You're not desperate because the desperate need is pitching. And I would say, and I kind of, even though we could live without Otani, another bat is important,
Right.
and to me, it's an October bat.
Yeah.
Here's a question: yeah, do you guys think Otani can be a game changer come postseason? Absolutely. Saw it in the
Yeah.
WBC.
Yeah. It's I mean, no pitching obviously this year, but for sure the bat's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah,
big game changer.
yeah. Tat guy, he's the WBC is more important to him than anything in American baseball. And he performed really well at the plate. Then, of course, he saved the game too.
I mean, if you really think about it too, I mean, let's just say he comes to LA, he's in October and everything. He's gonna feed off the fans, knowing how loud Dodger
Yeah,
Stadium gets. That's another thing too. And then just the way you know how Dodger Stadium rocks in the postseason, he won't shy away from that either.
I
You can
know.
only imagine like how much more of that bat will come alive as well too.
I agree. I really do. I think that yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think it'll get infectious because
Oh yeah,
it takes so right now it's in Mookie's head. We already know that because he's been talking about it already. It's in his head about
yep.
that. And it's probably in Freddie's head a little bit too. So, but if you got Otani and then Will, because Will's just Will.
Yeah, he's just
He's
that
just
one
that
guy that
he's that
he's just
apple
there.
apple pie all American looking dude, that just goes out and is very as plain as can be and is a really good baseball player.
Yeah.
He's just a steady Eddie. He's not a vocal guy or anything like that, but he's steady. And things don't phase him, which is cool.
Oh,
You need those guys. But I think, yeah, I think, and a Rosarina could do similar. He's obviously not as gifted as Otani at the plate. I mean, he's a freak. Do you risk playing your highest paid player being a DH after getting TJ? Well, he's done it before.
yeah. Did it actually for a
Yeah, and
while
Harper
too.
did it too. And it could be that he doesn't start playing until June or July, like Harper did in 2022, right? No, 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 no.
When he
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Harper. Wait, when did Harper have his Tommy John?
He had it last season, so it was
Okay.
no. I think it was after the. Wait, was it after the season was
I get
over?
confused now because then they moved him to first base and all that. But
Because
did
when he came back, it was Gavin Stone's debut, and they had him wear that brace
that's right.
when he was
That's
running the
right.
base. So I mean,
And that was in
yeah,
May.
still wore it.
That was in May, yeah. And it'll be an adjustment for him. Trying to trade a ton of talent for a 1 year number one starter seems counterproductive, but you need two top three pitchers and need lefties for sure. Can't keep every prospect until the thirds. Yeah, but that's why I want to sign guys and then make the moves I need to make, because they do, no matter what, they do need to trade some right-handed pitching. It's just not
Yeah,
fair.
right.
And I don't, I like all of them. You and I have met a lot of them, and and so that it gets personal for us. And then they have to make sure that Michael Bush, and Casey and I said it last year, play him or trade him, and it's still
Yeah.
the same thing. So they got to do that, or as Doug says, Michael Bush is going to be the oldest rookie of the year in about 10 years or something like that. I mean, it's absurd what's been going on with that poor man. Yeah. They do need to break a bit of a logjam. That's why I do think 5 of the people in the top 30 are going to get eventually traded, is because you have to. It's the right thing to do. You can't hoard everybody, because then their value starts going down. I mean, just so Michael Bush, which he had a phenomenal year at AAA, struggled a little bit at the majors, but really didn't get a real chance.
Right.
But his value, no matter how good he was going to go down just because it's another year.
Right.
So, and same with Landon Knack, right? Landon Knack he was great last year. Truly one of their best pitchers. And his value goes down because he's 27.
Well, even as far as how old is what's his name? The catcher we keep talking about, he's in AAA, and we
Oh,
still think that,
Fiducia.
yeah. How old is he? Is he also in his mid-20s?
Yeah, he's up there. He's 26 or 27.
Yeah. So see, that's another guy that he should have gotten a chance as well too this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
Yeah.
only gives you a chance, like you're saying. If the plan wasn't even to give him a chance, then why even put him on the roster? Just let him go.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, they should just let him be Rule 5. But Dennis Cook says Bush at third, no argument. It's had a guy. We're just talking about catchers. Don't the Dodgers have 3 catching prospects as well? Do you think they need to trade at least one of them? Yeah, I mean, rushing, they're either their number 1 or number 2 prospect, based on, just depends on who you ask. And then we have Cartaya still, who obviously had a rough year, and then we have Dayron Lorenzo,
who's going to be coming up big time too.
Yeah, he's gonna be getting in the top 10 soon, and we still got Yainer.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
how often? But I don't even think he's even catcher anymore like he was before.
Yeah, he's playing more second.
He's more of a middle infielder now.
Yeah, the Yainer, and then Jesus Galiz.
He's going to be another one too.
That dude improved so much during the season.
Mm-hmm.
During the beginning of the season, he was terrible at the plate, but he ended up with some nice numbers. Yeah. So yes, the Dodgers actually have about 6 prospects that we consider to be pretty darn good. We do have, there's a report. There's something in our thing for catchers, that we've already covered the catchers. And there's a lot of them. There's just a lot of them.
Oh yeah, way too many.
Yeah, and they have to. That is one position. I think if they get Glasnow or Cease or someone like that, one of those catchers is going to be gone.
I can see one for sure leaving in any trade that they make this year, or anytime soon.
Well, and speaking of catchers, back to Will Smith. I really wish they just make that man a Dodger for the next 5 or 6 years. Just give him an extension now.
I feel like they're holding off on it because how much more team control does he have? Does he still have like 2 or 3 years?
2.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're gonna wait probably till after this season or middle of the season, and then just give him that extension probably.
Yeah, I wish they'd just do that and get that out. Just because it kind of answers the question and gives you a timeline for how long they need for the next guy to come up and be the backup first, learn from
Right.
Smith, and then take over eventually. And you go, okay, well, if it's going to be 6 years, and so you could also, work on the position alternatives, like rushing can play first. I actually think he'd be a really good third baseman. Just kind of throwing that out there. But Tyrone, how does he say his first name correctly? Tyrone?
Tyrone, like
Yeah,
Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Yeah.
He played a lot of first. Diego's played some first. Of course, we already talked about Yainer. Jesus only catches though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in any other position. He only DH'd and catch this season, so I
Yeah,
didn't see him anywhere else.
and he might be their best defensive catcher, Jesus Galiz.
In my opinion, yes.
And the other thing I didn't realize that he wasn't even 20 last year.
Nope.
I thought he was. I thought he was just the way that I dealt with him. I thought he was
Right.
older.
Nope.
That's
Yeah.
a guy, and that's a guy. God, we should have interviewed him, man. I'm just kind of pissed at myself. Maybe we'll set something up. Try to talk to him, because I thought he was fantastic by the end of the year, and I think he should be showing up on these prospect lists. But I don't care about the public ones, but on mine,
The reason I say too that why Galiz is, in my opinion, the best defensive catcher the Dodgers got in their system is because he still catches like like the way catchers were taught to catch, not the one knee
yeah,
behind the plate thing anymore.
right.
I think, to me, this is the thing I see. When I was a catcher in college, if you drop the one knee, you're a lazy catcher. Just say it like
I
that.
know.
That was point given. You were the laziest catcher ever in baseball for sure.
Yeah, I hate it.
I mean, but he catches the way I remember I was taught. You
Mm-hmm.
know, feet widespread apart, shoulder width apart and all that stuff, how to block, all that stuff. The way he frames, that's the way a catcher should be.
I'm gonna reach out to him. I want to talk to him, because I think that, yeah, I think he's such an underrated player. Let's see. This is really so Grizz Monster, and I think we could all agree with this. And and amen it. I question why the Dodgers don't do a better job extending younger players. Braves are great at it. I mean, we saw our homegrown guy get the World Series MVP in 2023. That's our
Oh
boy.
yeah. Yep.
And we've seen Jock Peterson do his thing. So, and even Cody. I mean, Cody's numbers were weird. So a lot of people think there's some regression coming again. But still, he's ours.
Yeah.
These are our guys. They're the ones that came through Rancho. I don't want to be like the Padres, where guys come through Lake Elsinore and you never see them in San Diego.
Yeah. You got that right.
They're just
I haven't seen one guy from coming down from their low A ball system all the way up to the Padres yet.
yeah. And then they pushed that kid Salas, man.
Oh,
He
Ethan Salas.
Yeah, he went up to the double A and just died. But I don't blame him. He was 17 years old. They're pushing him. I don't know what they were doing.
I just think the Dodgers, sorry, the Padres are just making, like, they're trying to find some kind of way to build the social media. You already know how they
They're
roll.
they're
They're
desperate,
trying to find
man.
yeah, they're desperate to find some way to do it.
Yeah. And rest in peace to Peter Seidler, man. What a great owner, though. It's
Yeah,
you as a fan of a team, you like to have owners that want to win. I mean,
right.
I I'm sure the Dodgers owners want to win, but that's just a feeling. I knew for a fact that Peter Seidler wanted to win. I think Magic doesn't care anymore. He's so fat and happy, and I don't mean physically. He's just so rich and happy. I mean, he's like a billionaire now. I mean, he's done amazing work. But these guys, it's like, man, where's that fire like Seidler had, man? He wanted to win bad. They did some things, probably not the best of things. I was suspecting, because I had heard from some sources that he was from early last year or late 2022 that he was in bad shape. So they were trying to be desperate and try to win for him. But what a great owner. And I would just like to see that type of fire from our owners, even though I do think they want to win. I just
They
wonder,
got to show it more.
yeah, yeah. And I just the fact that you could go up to Seidler. Yeah, well, you know, at the same time at Dodger Stadium, you can go up to what's his name? Stan Kasten. He's always
Oh, I seen.
available.
Yeah, he's. I have seen him a couple times out at Dodger Stadium, a few times. Yeah,
Dude's always out there. You could always say hi to him. Um, so I give him credit for that. Yeah, I mean that's which is cool. He and I'm sure there's other people out there that are there. We just don't know what they look like.
yeah, honestly.
I said Josh Burns was in the dugout. One of those games, one of the last games of the season that I was there. Um, but I didn't say anything to him. I should have.
You talking about Dodger Stadium or
No,
Rancho?
no, no. At Rancho.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so I have a Josh Burns story. I don't know if I've told it before, but I think it's funny. First time I ever ran into Josh Burns. So I was on a business travel in Washington in 2017. And fortunately, Los Doyers were scheduled to play in
What?
Washington that night.
Okay.
So I have my goddaughter's parents. We went, so we said, hey, we'll meet up. And so I get there because I'm trying to get autographs and all that type of stuff. I got Charlie Culberson, a few others. But about 45 minutes before the game, Uber pulls up and Alex Verdugo pops out. 45 minutes before the game. And guess who else popped out with him? Josh Burns. And I go, hey, can I get a picture with him? And Josh Burns, they're just like, So he was there. They had to go get his butt 45 minutes before the game.
Wow.
So, yeah. So old Doogie, man, that's not a good. Now it was in 2017 because he didn't start playing full time with them till 2019. So
That's right. Yeah.
he screwed the pooch on that one, man.
Makes a different reason why they probably traded him.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I liked him, but yeah, he seems to be more, wanting to show his weird grill and all that stuff more than be productive. He did the stupid thing with his teeth or whatever.
Don't get me wrong. The guy was a great player, athlete. I guess you could say.
Yeah, dude's a natural, and I think he was the difference. Remember, he wasn't available in 2019 for that postseason.
Yeah, because of his back injury.
Yep. And his bat would have helped, man, over Matt Beatty, that's for sure. Let's see, Grizzmonster. Casson is awesome and wants to play the kids over throwing money at mediocre vets, which makes him like him more. Yeah, I wish they'd. Yeah. Jim Bone just said Kelly deal is 1 year for $8 million. Oh, okay. Well, that's almost the same as what he would have gotten if they would have
never let him. Yeah.
I think maybe they saved 500,000.
But we have to think about it too. What are the other options in that contract? What are the other things that are involved in that contract? It can't be just 8 million. Like, here you go, man. Like, this is big for Rafa. Well,
yeah. Who knows? Maybe there's some incentives for him to, he always. I mean, really, Joe Kelly's not. I mean, he's maybe a little bit taller than I am, but he's not that thick.
No,
but he throws 100.
Yeah, exactly. It's all mechanics, like we said.
Yeah, and so and I think it adds a fragility to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. There's just something about Joe Kelly, and I people. I do have a video out there. You probably all have hopefully taken a look at of why we love Joe Kelly, and there's a lot of reasons.
Obviously, we already know what number one spot is.
Yeah, I mean, people forget how awful and how pissed off that team was when everything broke. I mean, it was like during Fan Fest when it started to really come out.
It was a little bit before Fan Fest. I was there around that time.
Yeah. So it was coming out then.
Because I remember sorry to cut you off, Tim, but I remember at Fan Fest I was there, it was 2020, because that was right before COVID hit. Hit. And the media, I mean, I've never seen, obviously you see the media that's out there for FanFest, but 2020 media was like beyond, like,
they were there, man.
Crazy. Yeah, it was legit. And every question, because I wasn't that far away from the stage, as soon as players got off, they were just like, hey, how'd you guys feel about the news breaking out that they're for cheating? And
Yep. And
that's where
so,
all
because I honestly believe that was first of all, once they got Mookie, especially, that was a almost a perfect team.
right.
And then they were not going to lose that season. They
No,
actually
definitely.
had fire, they had purpose, and Joe Kelly, when he did, he threw at him. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there was no control issues. There was
yeah,
all for
but
sure.
he did that, and you know what, man, we all screamed and yelled because it made it for us, right? It needed to be done. He was letting out because everyone's locked down, all that crap that went on. Everything was going so weird, and it was a blessing to have baseball back. It really
Oh,
was.
easily for sure.
And then for him to do that, to go and start trying to drill those guys, and then with his little, the pouty face and nice swing, you know what? Um,
And to
it,
think that he wasn't even on that 2017 team and he still did it.
but he was on the Red Sox, and they got
Uh,
ripped off too.
no, but I mean, just for the
Yeah,
fact that he did it, I mean, but they
he
also
did.
lost.
He
Yeah,
yeah, it set him up as the guy. He's your ride or die. He's the guy you want in the front seat when you're driving through the bad neighborhood. Is Joe Kelly? That's your
yeah.
guy. He's IE strong, right? It's either him or Barnes that you want with you in those things.
Oh
And
yeah,
then he goes, and with his World Series ring, he does the pouty face with his picture. Then he does the mariachi jacket. Oh my
yep.
God, what a dude, man. And then just him coming back here again. Yeah, well, when he pitched that first game at Rancho, I've got it on tape. It's at the end of the video. The fans going crazy for him. You don't hear Rancho that loud.
No, I
He
mean,
came out. He came out to warm up, and fortunately, I was right behind the catcher. You know how I do that thing.
right.
So I'm getting Joe Kelly, and the crowd just going bonkers. They love him. He's just and because he's more like us.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's just in his wife's cool, his kids are cool, everything about that. He's just a normal guy. He just wants to go to In and Out or to Chipotle. That's all.
yeah. That's exactly what he did when he first got traded back to the Dodgers to go to In
He
and Out.
did. No, and after I talked to him, because I got a chance to talk to him briefly, I go, so are you hitting In and Out? He goes, no, we're hitting Chipotle now. It's just, but he's just a normal guy. And you know what? And like Roger from the Bleed Lows podcast was there, and he had a little interaction with Joe before, and Joe greeted him because he remembered him.
Oh, see, that's the thing about Joe too, that he'll remember you for what you do.
How cool is that? Because we're the bottom feeders of the media, and they don't have to be nice to us, but he was really good. And his questions, the way he answered questions, I thought was great. Yeah, I've got yeah, I treasured that time just as the one of the highlights of the season was covering him. Just
Right.
good dude. Let's see. Grisman said Kelly has the rubbery slingshot arm like Pedro Martinez. Yep. And plus Kelly brings the FU mentality.
Yeah. I
Yes,
mean, that's exactly what it is.
that's right. He's the guy, man. Joe Kelly
Well, that's
Fight Club.
well, he said in the interview after in the post game interview when he came back to Dodger Stadium when he pitched his first game back in LA, he
Yeah.
says that he even said it when he came out of that bullpen. He says he felt like he was back at home. He said that he fed
Hmm.
off the fans. He
Yeah.
says even Chicago didn't have that. He said in Chicago they just used him like if he was just like warming up just to get some work in, pretty much like he just treated it as a bullpen work.
Yeah. And it's kind of like Dave Roberts in Boston with
Right.
the stolen base. The dude never has to buy a drink again, no matter what.
Yeah,
And with
because that's
Joe
what brought
Kelly,
him to.
same thing, man. I mean, and he'll come in, he's going to walk a couple guys, but in general, he gets out of it. Not
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
easily.
It's definitely an experience, but yeah, I like the Joe. I like the Joe Kellys. I think you need a Joe Kelly on your team. Well, oh, this is right up there. This guy's tatted guy says Dodgers need more dogs. Too many nice guys. I agree.
Yep. We've said that multiple times too.
Joe
We've
Kelly
said
got that
that.
dog, man.
Yep.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's what something that Utley brought to the team back in the day. He brought that extra, I will do whatever it takes to win this game,
Oh yeah.
including break a guy's leg. But but Utley wanted to, it was it, no more huggers, please. Yep. That's from
Well, that's
another
the
guy,
thing though,
Chris Monster.
that these guys like Joe Kelly and well, let's just say for example Chase Utley, they played the game the way it was played back in the day.
Uh-huh. And here's
And
another
obviously,
one. No more huggers, please. More FU Kelly Gibson guys like Kirk Gibson, right?
yep,
That
for
dude came
sure. Put the
in.
guys on track.
I was still in my 20s when Gibson came, and I remember just couldn't wait to listen to his first spring training game and hearing he wasn't in the lineup. And then the story got out about the whole black thing on his head,
Oh,
on his hat and everything like
right.
that. I mean, and he was pissed, and I was like, "That's
I
what
think
we
it was when he
need."
said, told Tommy Lasorda like, keep your guys in check, or I run this team kind of thing,
Yep.
or else won't be coming back.
Wait, there's something from Fabian Ardaya. Let me see what he says. Oh, it's nothing to do with the Dodgers, but the Braves have acquired Jared Kelnick from the Mariners. Rest of the deal is not known. That's a whoa. That's a big
That's
whoa. Remember how
Jared.
that guy was supposed to be the guy? I
He
gotta
was supposed
say,
to be the guy in the Mets, and then he got traded to the Mariners, and I forgot what they traded
it
for
was the
him.
Diaz trade.
Oh yeah, the Diaz trade with the Robinson Cano trade. That's right.
Yeah, I gotta send this to my Seattle guy. See what he
And,
thinks.
and yeah, just Jared Kelnick can never get it going out there in
He had
Seattle.
he was pretty decent this last year though, so maybe they're selling high. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, just saw that Jared Kelnick. Yep. Yeah, I haven't seen any details on that, but hey, it's our first real trade. Let's see. Um, let's see. Okay. Where'd it go? It just
Speaking of
vanished.
that, Dodgers did make a move not that long ago. I mean, Nelson Cruz is going to come as an advisor.
I know. I liked it though. That was cool. That was cool. Okay, so oh wow. Oh, this is kind of they're trading Jared Kelnick, Marco Gonzalez, the pitcher, Evan White. Remember, Evan White was the first baseman they signed like to a one to like 10-year 10 million, or it was they gave him a real major league contract. He
I
never
think
did
so. Yeah.
anything. And so they're getting Jackson Rower and Cole Phillips from the Braves. I don't even remember what those guys do. My brain can't handle it. Um, that's interesting. It looks kind of like it's a salary dump a little bit with Gonzalez and White. Um, yeah, everyone's like, huh?
It
Interesting.
is just crazy to think that Jared Kelnick was supposed to be like a big name
I
too.
know. But like they say, prospects can turn into suspects pretty quick.
Very
And,
true.
and it's in some that you're just trying to get, the most value you can for a guy. When you can, but that's like with yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Jesse Orozco, yeah, local guy here, was the guy that did it to Gibson with the whole black thing, black hat stuff. Um, Jesse Orozco pitched till he was almost 50 just because he's left-handed. Actually, yeah, my son actually had one pitching session with him once at our batting cages but then he ended up, my son had an impingement in his shoulder that kind of messed him up a little bit. But yeah, so it kind of ended that pitching lesson and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of interesting having those guys as guys that I knew of growing up and stuff, and to have all of a sudden they're coaching your kid. With both Dave Stewart and Jerry Royster was out there for a couple practices. There was one time at my son's practice, they had 5 guys who had time in the major leagues
Hmm.
on the practice field at once. It's pretty cool. I can't
The only time I
remember.
ever got
Stu
in
was obviously the best one, and then Jerry Royster had a nice career, and I can't remember all the other guys.
the only time I ever had like an interaction with not a major leaguer, but it was like any kind of form of tips when I was in high school was from a scout. His name was Phil Pope,
Mm,
and he was I believe he was a Mariners scout too. Right now that I just mentioned
yeah,
it.
there you
So I mean,
go.
that's the only time I've had a good interaction with as far as like anybody from MLB in high school. But
Yeah,
that was, I guess you could say, a highlight. But then the highlights didn't start coming till later on
right.
after.
Yeah, it's weird, man. The Braves, you know, because the last 2 years the Braves got Olson
Matt
and
Olson, right?
Matt Olson. They really gave up nothing for him.
Yeah, who they gave up for him, anyways? That's a good question. Now
Nothing.
I'm really trying to think. But even then, because remember then too, after Matt Olson, then they got Sean Murphy. Remember the
I
catcher?
know. So they
So
shot Murphy last year, and now they've got Kelnick. It's like, what is Anthopoulos? Who's got the naked pictures of, man? I mean, she's that dude's been working the trades, and I don't know what he gave. I don't know enough about the guys he gave up. But if anyone in the chat has any thoughts about what the Braves gave up, this is funny. Grizz Monster says Alejandro Pena still slow. He stands slow. They used to call that was his nickname was Slow Pena. But for a while, Alejandro Pena he had their best fastball in the Dodgers organization. He was good. He had some stuff, then he went through some injuries and became a good reliever. Um, yeah, even back then, the Dodgers used to produce some good right-handed pitchers. A lot of, well, Dave Stewart was one of them. Alejandro Pena, Tom Niedenfuer, all guys that contributed in World Series wins in '81. Um, yeah, and
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 speaking of
Pena too
pictures
in
and
'88.
photos, did you see that? What's his name? Kelly Jansen posted pictures outside of Dodger Stadium.
I saw that. That was weird. Kind
That
of
was another.
created a little frenzy.
Yeah, trying to spark up some stuff there, probably.
Yeah, I think his contract's still 16 million. I don't think the Dodgers are touching that.
Speaking of
Um,
that, too, I just think it's gonna be a while till we see another legit Dodger closer, probably.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm on board with. I know a lot of people hate it in the chat. I'm actually on board with signing Hader because I just want to acquire good pitchers. I don't care if they're starters or relievers. I want the best pitchers out there as much as possible.
And another thing too, he's not gonna go in and tell Dave Roberts like, "No, I'm not pitching because we're not making the postseason," kind of thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
yeah,
I'm playing for a contract. He's going to have a contract. He'll be set. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm all in on him, but I don't think the Dodgers will do it. Even though there's been some, I can't remember who's throwing some rumors out there about that. So yeah, I think it's good that hey, something's starting to happen though. So we got our first real trade of the off season. This is a fun trade. Again, I don't know enough about the other players. I know other than Evan White was a really good fielder and they gave him a lot of money.
I remember
I
that.
want I think Class A in our bullpen from Cleveland. And you know, speaking of Cleveland, I don't know if but Trinidad, we had a guy from work who actually works in Ohio, and he's a
Okay.
huge baseball fan. So he was actually at our site on Friday. So we talked about that about Shane Bieber, and he
Oh, okay.
says, yeah, one of the things I asked, what's the deal with Bieber? And he goes, well, what he really does is his actual statistics outperform his peripherals.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's see. Was Al Campana still GM? He was the GM. He was not the GM. He was let go with his famous incident in early '87. Fred Clare is the one that signed Kirk Gibson and traded
Right.
for Jesse Orosco. Al Campanis was the guy before that. He's the one that helped draft Niedenfuer, sign Alejandro Pena, draft Dave Stewart, all those guys. Cleveland has hurt him because of their TV deal. Yeah, that freaking Bally Sports just killing everybody.
I
It's
feel like.
yeah, sorry Padres, but I feel bad for Cleveland, not the Padres.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Class A would be fun. Um, yeah, it would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, working with Cleveland because you know you get good pitchers from Cleveland. They develop pitchers as well or better than anybody, including the
Right.
Dodgers. They
Right.
always find a way, and they have less resources. Yeah, chat's kind of going, everything's kind of going crazy right now, which is good. I'm glad to see that. Um, let's see. Oh, so yeah, the question people and it's a good question. Are the Mariners trying to make room now? for Soto. I mean,
Know about that.
or Otani. I don't think he can afford Otani, but
Yeah, no,
Soto for a
they said they're
year,
out of that one already.
yeah.
I mean,
But
though,
you never know.
I, I, I just don't. Maybe Soto, maybe, but I just still don't see it yet for him going there. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously the Yankees are high in trying to get him, but you already know
yeah.
that the Padres are probably going to want back anything they can get for him.
You know, I tweeted back to Maury Brown on because he mentioned some of the things about the Soto trade, and I go, it's like AJ Preller acts like Soto has 2.5 years of controllability versus just 1 year. So he's trying to get all the same guys he got back from the Nationals, the same quality of
Yeah,
guys.
that's not gonna happen though.
It can't. I
Yeah,
mean,
he could
it's
probably maybe
like,
only get like maybe two guys maybe out of there, but that's
I
it.
know. Yeah. And,
I mean, if the Yankees are
oh,
nice enough to probably let go maybe three, that's just like a nice deal.
yeah. Potters are going, oh, we want 6 year guys and we want you to take Grisham too.
Yeah, right. I don't think so.
Yeah. You make me take Grisham. I'm not giving you anything.
No, yeah, seriously. I mean, but even then, I mean, Soto is just like an Otani. It's just the bat. His
I
defense is not
know.
that great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's only getting worse out there, it seems, in the
Yeah,
outfield. But hey, if for some reason they don't get Otani next year, Soto.
yeah. No, seriously. I mean, the Mariners maybe look like a team to get Soto, but I just don't see what guys they're going to give up anyways for him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and
so I mean,
and the one thing we can guarantee, Soto is going to be a free agent after next year.
oh, easily. He's not going to take an extension to the team he's getting traded for
Yeah.
anyway.
Boris is his agent, man. He's taking the free agency. Yeah. So Soto might be a good alternative. We can't get Otani, but yeah, we're not trading with the Padres. They're not going to do that.
And on
They
top of
could,
that, too, you already know that he's not going to get the 440 mil that he got offered from the Nationals.
he should have taken that straight up. But
I
I
mean,
think,
they would have to build the team around him, anyways.
can you imagine the Padres having to deal with the PR of the Dodgers acquiring Soto from the Padres? It won't happen. I mean, the last time we dealt with the Padres, we got freaking River Ryan for Matt Beatty.
That mm-hmm. And it
That
worked
was a
out in our
big rip.
favor.
Let's see. And then we got Pittsburgh develops awesome pitchers, and the Indians are great at fastball movement, sliders, and cutters. Yeah, get those guys. Well, Mitch Keller, right? Let's
Oh
see.
yeah, I forgot about Mitch Keller.
So yeah, there's Joel Sherman saying that it looks like the I keep wanting to say the Seahawks, the Mariners are trying to clear some space to make a move. So hey, that's cool. You know what? If the Dodgers don't get Otani and the Mariners get him, I'm not crying. I still
No, I
want
mean
him.
it's more of a spark for Mariner fans, anyways, too.
Yeah. Um, or if the hey, I'd love to get Soto out of the division, but you know what the real win is if the Padres don't trade Soto and only get a draft pick for him. That's the real win for
That is
us as
true.
Dodger fans. I would think if with Seidler passing, he had Preller's back. For some reason, he loved Preller. If Preller lets that happen, he has to be fired.
100% for sure.
If he didn't get anything for Soto, he has to be, unless you win the World Series. Okay, fine, great. You're the GM for life. But
I think what the Predator was trying to do is he was trying to. I feel like with Predator making all those moves he's been doing for the last 3.5 years already, it just seems like he's trying to do what. Remember how back in the day, like George Steinbrenner used to do, just give
yeah,
me every agent you could get, and then we'll make up a superpower team. But I think it's
yeah.
just finally blowing up in his face that he can't get superstars in there with no chemistry in them.
See, and you said it right there with the chemistry, because Steinbrenner was just going and getting everybody, like you said. The Dodgers don't do that. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking to see what matters. And even last year, so I like Xander Bogaerts, okay, as a player. I like him. But
Right.
why did you sign him to put him at shortstop when you had Hassan Kim, who is a way better defender. You want, if you have a stud defender like that, you keep Hassan Kim at short. But they hurt their defense by doing that. Now I guess Bogart's going to be their $25 million for the next 10 years first baseman. Good luck.
Or it could be a DH.
Yeah. Good luck. So I'm just going, I don't know. I don't get it. Let's see. Yeah, Preller tried to pull a Marlins, and worked for the Marlins in 1997, but that was a rarity. That doesn't happen that much. And you go all in and wreck your farm system, and you may never recover. And but Preller's strength is, though, he does find players. The guy's got an eye for talent. He just doesn't have an eye for chemistry.
Well, that's the thing, though. But then, like how I'm comparing George Steinbrenner back in the day to players, look how long it took those superstars to win a World Series. Yeah, so I mean, it didn't take them until, like, later down the road to 2009 to win that.
Yeah, big, and even with that, they only won one.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and they haven't been back. Which is very, very odd. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Preller did try to pull the Marlins and buy a World Series, and it's just, you got to get the right. It's got to be the right guys. You don't go, because at the time they still had Tatis as a shortstop too. You don't go and get another shortstop. You go, and then because then you weaken yourself at short, and then you put Cronenworth at first, who's a good fielder, but he's not a first baseman in terms of a hitter.
Yeah.
No, and then they gave Cronenworth. Now that Cronenworth you can't trade. He's got 7 years at 11 plus million a year. He's untradeable now. Then they signed Darvish. This is totally self-inflicted. They didn't need to trade Cronenworth because he had like 2 or 3 more years before he became a free agent. And then last year, with Darvish having 1 more year left, they gave him a 6-year at 15 plus million to a guy who's he's 37.
Well, not even that. They're still eating up that money from Eric Hosmer too, aren't they?
They did, yeah. Yeah, the Hosmer thing.
And then also too, like how we're talking, let's just put it this way too. Look how many catchers the Padres have gone through, and they still can't find a catcher. They had to go ahead and sign what's his name from
Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez, which he did okay towards the end. Yeah, but I don't see him as a legit superstar catcher, anyways, either.
This is a good Grizz Monster here. Look at our All-Stars in the playoffs. You don't just win with just All-Stars. It's your Dirt Devils that win you World Series rings. Very good point, because if you look at 1988, Mickey Hatcher, it was the offensive star. Yeah, we saw the Gibson thing. And we saw Oral Hershiser do his thing. So it was a combination of a guy who'd hit like 1 home run all year, and he goes and hits 2 in the World Series. And then even in 2020, against the Braves, in that Game 7, Kike is the one that hit the tying home run.
That's right. He hit the tying home run, and then it was Bellinger who hit the goal.
Yeah. So you had the Dirt Devil and you had the All-Star. And it's that. And it was the most important in Game 6 of that World Series, the most important pitches that were thrown in that game were in the second inning by Dylan Floro against Arozarena.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about
Struck him out on 3 changeups. Dirt Devil. And then Alex Wood was really good in the bullpen after that. I mean, Victor Gonzalez was good. But yeah, at the same time, Mookie Betts hit that home run to put him up by 3-1, 3-1. Corey Seager got the RBI and all that type of stuff. So yeah, there's a mixture of those types of things that you need. You can't just have Mookie Betts can't do it all. Freddie Freeman can't do it all. You've got to have James Outman, who himself could turn into a star. But you got to, the Kikes, the Chris Taylors, they got to do their thing too.
Speaking of that too, especially with like Victor Gonzalez in that 2020 season, I mean, look at it too. He was a guy that was probably going to quit baseball too, and look at him now. He became a World Series. I mean, he became a potential World Series aspect in that
Yeah.
bullpen.
Yeah, he got himself a ring, that's for sure. I mean, so I mean, I just look at that and go, it's a good point. You have to have a mix. And so yeah, and they have stars. They if they get more, and really it's Otani is he's a unique player. Even if he never pitches again, I mean, just the bat is so good. And then also there's the other aspect of marketing. They're going to
Yeah,
sell out. All those you go to an Angel game, right? And at least a third of those people in the stands with jerseys on or jerseys, they all had number 17 Otani. At least
yeah.
a
I
third
think
of
I was
them.
reading something. I was reading it. So there was this the last game I went to at Angel Stadium. You know me. I'll just go for like if the
Yeah,
Dodgers are in town,
it's a
just go
baseball
watch the
game.
game. Yeah, just go to the game. It was the game they turned a triple play. It was against the Tampa Bay Rays,
Mm,
and I was reading something that day on my phone, and it said that for the first time in I don't know how many years since I forgot what year it was like they had sold out of a lot of Otani jerseys more than
yeah,
Mike Trout jerseys,
yeah. I
and
mean,
it was and it's just crazy though. But the thing is though, then I was reading another article and they were comparing Shohei Otani to Jose Fernandez. Remember Jose Fernandez
mhm,
from the Marlins? Rest in
yeah.
peace.
Rest in
So
peace.
they said they get more fans when Otani pitches, just like how when Jose Fernandez pitched for the Marlins at the time, because that
Yeah,
was the only star that they would see.
right. Yeah, and so they're going to be coming to Dodger Stadium. Um,
Yeah,
and you know, it'll be good, but it'll also kind of suck. I'm like, I was talking to when I did my thing with Doug, we talked about that. It's like, shoot, man, they're gonna for us to even have a chance at a media pass, they're gonna create a special media place for us in the top deck or something like that.
I did see that.
Let's see. Outman was the third best hitter and seeing the most second most pitches this last postseason, but he hit eighth and had no one in front or behind him. Worth a bucket of balls at the plate. Yeah, that's yeah. And that was the whole. I mean, they just didn't hit. It wouldn't have mattered, you know, even if the pitching was better, if you can't score, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But yeah, and that's and that, you know, I still think they need the pitching right now. But if they do get a big hitter, and it's Otani's a game changer, and a Rosarena is an October game changer. I'm good with it, but I don't know. In terms of hitters, there's not a Matt Chapman's a really good third baseman, but his hitting is really inconsistent. And
his
is it
fielding's a little bit inconsistent as well too sometimes.
yeah? And is it worth trading for Arenado? He's
His numbers are declining too.
yeah. I wouldn't be giving up that much for him. Got to be honest with you. I mean,
I
I
mean,
love Arenado, but
if Friedman can get a discount for Nolan Arenado, I
yeah,
mean, we're all in on it. But you already know that the Cardinals are not stupid either when it comes down to getting guys from another team for some
yeah.
where they got.
Well, the Cardinals think they got a World Series championship with their old man rotation, whatever.
Well, look at it
I,
this way: Cardinals at one point had Rosarena and Adolis Garcia, and they traded them away.
and Alcantara
Hey,
and Zach Gallen.
yep. So look at
Yep,
it
all
that
those
way.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they traded their future and they really blew it. Yeah, and yeah. I think two of them were part of the trade for Marcelo Zuna.
I think so. Yeah, you're right.
I think it was Alcantara. I always say his name wrong, Alcantara, and might have been a Rosarena in that trade. I don't remember now. If you get Otani, you got platoon Vargas with Muncy at third and Run Bush at second. Maybe, but they're already talking about Muncy or not Muncy, Mookie at second a lot because they got Jason Hayward back. Whatever,
I mean, either
whatever.
way, we won't know officially how they're gonna play J Hay anyways, until once all these trades and signings happen, anyways.
Oh, here's Aaron Vaughn. Hey, he says, hello, everyone. Happy winter meetings. Happy winter meetings eve. Yes. High holy week of the off season. Let's go. And it's already starting with the Mariners and Braves making a big trade. Man, I just, I enjoy, even though I'm not even much of an NBA fan anymore, Man, I love that free agency frenzy that they have. I just think it's fun. Um, and then with baseball, it's just I know it extends because it takes forever for things to happen, but once things really start happening, it will be a frenzy, I
Yeah.
believe.
Well, that's what I'm
Remember,
saying. We won't know anything until the big first official big signing happens for sure.
yeah,
Whoever does it.
I think remember last year, I things got so I think out of control. I mean, Trey Turner was given 11,300. I mean, I like Trey Turner, but he's not that. He's you don't give that to a guy when he's going to be 40. And then the Bogarts and even the Aaron Judge I didn't have as much of a problem with because he was a homegrown guy. But the
Right.
Padres offered him what? They offered him more.
It was
They
11,
offered
12
him
years.
nine 360 or something like
Was it?
that. They
I
offered
could
him
have.
360. They offered him
No, it had to be more than that. I
no, it
could have
wasn't
sworn it was
like
four hundreds.
over 400.
Yeah, it was like 420, 430 something for like
It was
11 or 12
something,
years.
yeah, it was something like that.
Because remember the team that was right behind them was the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah. Or with Arson Judge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eric Kwan, I don't get what Seattle is doing. People are speculating, Eric, that they're shedding money to make a move for someone like Soto, maybe, or something like that. I think Seattle is one of those things they need to make kind of that big move to have a chance to to get somebody who's kind of been there. Remember, Soto has a ring. He got it at 19.
Yeah.
Um,
And a big 20-year-old too. Or a 22-year-old,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So he would be a guy that can help a team a lot. Obviously, I mean, and he can change the lineup. I mean, even with the Padres, because most of those Padres superstars had opses under 800. Didn't
Yeah.
impact Soto. He did get off to a bad start, but his OPS at the end of the year was still I think over 900. So I mean,
He's very disciplined at the plate, that's for sure.
yeah, he was the guy doing the work. I think Machado was hurt, or maybe he's fat and happy now with his contract. Tatis is I just think he's a moron. I think he's got Puig disease, just kind of that knucklehead. And then Bogarts is a good player, but he was also hurt. He was damaged goods with his wrist.
Who?
Bogarts.
Oh, Bogart. Sorry. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't.
he had a he had a wrist issue. Um, let's see.
I think after Manny Machado signed that new extension, that's where he started declining as well too.
Yeah,
That had to be a
yeah,
big factor anyway. Like there's no way you're gonna perform in the first half of the season, then get that extension, and then just fall apart after.
yeah. Soto mentoring Rodriguez seems like Seattle's plan. I don't know if that's a good idea to have
I
Soto
don't think
mentoring
so.
anyone because
I don't see it
there
either.
is enough
What
coming out that he
the
was
full?
not part of the solution in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
But
Let,
if you have a clubhouse that's got Machado, Soto, Tatis, it's not good. Bogarts is cool,
everybody's trying to be one up the other.
yeah, and I just think Tatis is an idiot. Machado wants to do the right thing, but it's not him. He's just not a leader.
Yeah,
And
he did himself. He's not a leader in that clubhouse. He's
yeah,
just there to like play the game.
Bogart seems to be the natural leader. But like I said after 2022, that the guy they really should have signed was Justin Turner, and they should do that. That's what they need. They
Yeah,
need
I don't see that going there anyways.
yeah. No, and they took a step down. I think Bob Melvin losing him is terrible.
It's
If
already
he
hurting them.
if Bob Melvin can't help you, you're in trouble. I
Yeah.
mean, I think the Giants just got better just by getting him.
Yeah,
Too many
he's gonna
alphas in
mentor
San
everybody
Diego.
there.
This is a good point. Too many alphas in San Diego. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough alphas in LA.
Or what's the word? Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a given that they're all there trying to be the superstars. They're not there to help each other.
Yeah, and they're just, yeah. If you can't play for Bob Melvin, you just I wouldn't want to. I'd be really careful about touching anyone on that team. Plus, their pitching's almost all free agents. I mean,
Isn't Joe Musgrove a free agent after a certain time?
no, they got Musgrove and Darvish. That's about all that's coming, and Suarez. That
Oh, that's right.
the But the rest of Nick Martinez signed with the Reds. Hader's a free agent. Waka's a free agent. Lugo, Snell,
Lugo might be a
duh,
you said Lugo might be a Dodger too. Dodgers are
yeah.
in on.
They were in on him last year too. So yeah, I wouldn't that wouldn't surprise me if they got Lugo. It just can't be Lugo and Giolito and hey, we're good. No, no, no. You get one of those guys
Yeah,
and give me a
seriously.
stud. Because I don't want both those guys taking time away from Pepio and Sheehan, that's for sure.
No, definitely. You just probably want to get one of those guys just to eat up the innings, anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Oh,
that's why I kind of go Giolito over Lugo just because he has a lot more innings that he's been healthy for a long time. He just He's just kind of a machine, an innings eating machine,
and let's
and
just say
maybe
if they
they
do,
can fix him.
and let's just say if they do get both of them, in terms of fixing both of them, one can go to the bullpen anyways. If you're gonna let go of another reliever out of
Oh
there,
no, I really like Lugo in the bullpen because
yeah.
he brings that big curveball. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
different look. That's for sure. Let's see, what is going on here? I'm just every text I'm like, oh, okay, is there another move? Is there another move? It's kind of that's part of the fun though, right? Just going, hey, because that move doesn't impact the Dodgers directly, but it's just fun. Um, let's see, I gotta send my oh yeah.
I mean, let's just say this: that we're gonna have our jaws dropped. A lot of people's
Mm-hmm.
jaws are gonna drop anyways during the winter meetings, as far as like when something that we never expected it happens, anyways.
Aaron Vaughn wrote, "What's the status of Alex Reyes?" I totally forgot about him. Yeah, he's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I think his shoulder's just done. Wait, what? Mariners and yeah, Braves made a trade. Yeah, the Mariners traded Kelnick to the Braves, and it looks like a salary dump. And Evan White, who they signed to a long-term contract, even though he never done anything and never did anything. Like, holy smokes, man. What are you guys doing? Oh man. Well, it's just, but these teams are trying to do stuff and you try to lock. I understand the whole let's lock guys in. I do. I truly understand that. And I wish that, like I said, I wish the Dodgers would do it, but it's also a little harder when their agent's Scott Boras,
No,
like with
yeah,
With Seager and Belly.
yep.
But from my understanding, Smith's agent is not Boris. So do something with Smith, get him done. Find maybe Outman or someone like that. But like I know Pepio and DePaula, Josue has
Yeah,
Boris as his agent now.
I saw that. I did see that when you made that announcement. I was like shocked.
And didn't Peyton Martin, didn't he also get him?
Did
I
he?
think
Because
I think he did. I think he did.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not too sure on that one, but I know for sure DePaula did get Boris.
Yeah, I know that. I don't blame those guys, man. And you
Well,
know what?
because his agent works. I was shocked too because his DePaula's agent works for the Boris industry, and he
Oh,
was there for a few of his games, and I'll never forget this. So he was there, and happened around him. He was wearing a Boris industry shirt.
yep.
So that's when I was like, oh, and then later down the road after the season, and then that's when we saw the post that he said that he was under Boris.
Yeah. Well, because I know that Boris down in San Diego has the former Padre Xavier Nady working for him.
Yes, uh-huh.
He's down there. And then, but so people don't go looking for Boris. Boris goes and looks for them.
Yeah,
He
it's true,
he
and the reason why we say it because he's always at the game. Sometimes that he's gonna go
he
pick.
yeah, he's looking for talent. Look, he's looking for those right guys. So you look at it and go, well, if Boris went and sought out Pepio, that's a good thing. Now
Mm-hmm.
it means Pepio's only got another 5 years left with the Dodgers, probably, but we know he's a good one because yeah, Boris is out there looking for the elite talent. And for him to get DePaula, who's only 18.
Speaking of
Well,
Boris,
we you know how we already know how we feel about Josue.
oh, easily. And so it's funny that you mentioned that too, because as far as picking talent, I was there at that game I was mentioning earlier about going against Tampa Bay. He was talking to Randy Rosarena that day that I had went, and it was pretty funny because I was like, "Who's he talking to?" Sure enough, it's Scott Boras.
Oh man.
So we
Yeah,
might see.
Boris is
So
good.
yeah, so I mean, why wouldn't he want to have Rosarena as his client?
Yeah, I don't blame him. The Rosa, hey, you know what? I would want him too. The only problem with the Rosarena, because even he's 29, but he's still not a free agent for 3 more years. He's
Yeah,
older.
definitely team control.
Yeah. So I look at that and I go, well, that's why we got to trade for him.
And it's one
That's
reason
the,
why I kept mentioning a Rosarena earlier in the show,
you
as far as
should.
like wanting him here, is because he's in love with the Mexican community,
That's true.
and why not want him here?
Yeah. Well, especially with losing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, who will, I don't think we're ever seeing Julio again in the major leagues, man.
You know what's crazy about that? I haven't heard anything else about that. I don't even
Yeah.
know if he even had his court date.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, so that's
I
another reason why I mean, to me, it's just like, okay, well, it's probably just shoved right under the rug. It's over with, and we won't hear from him ever again.
yeah, I'm just if he did something, and it sounds like he did something based on
Yeah.
there's videotape. You know, you can't keep letting these guys get away with it.
No, yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. I hope that it's not just quote settled. I hope she will testify against him and all that. But yeah, it's not our problem anymore. It's still upsetting though, man. That was
Oh,
our
it is
guy. That was
homegrown.
yeah, homegrown. I went to freaking New York to see his debut. So yeah, and then I got the night little interview with him during his rehab. I mean that was fun. Um, last update on Julio was he missed the court date. Yeah, I heard about that, but I heard it wasn't maybe mandatory that he be there. That's the last up, but that's the last I've heard too, and that was like a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I don't even think it is. I don't even think anything was, settled or whatever
yeah,
you say now. I guess towards it.
yeah. And I know the Dodgers, tried to erase some of the history. It's like, you know what? At the end of the day, he still threw that last pitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're still gonna see that. I mean, as far as
Yeah.
I mean, unless
And I still got a picture of it, man. I'm not getting rid of it.
yeah, same. Same. But
It's yeah.
but makes it different. That's probably why the Dodgers want to like win another one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that it really sucks that Kershaw probably never gets a parade.
Yeah, literally.
That's I see that. Um, let's see. So it's almost 8:20. It's after 8:20 already. I don't see any more action on the trade market at the moment, but let's see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so it turns out that with Joe Kelly's deal, they saved $500,000.
Yeah,
Okay, whatever.
I mean, we're willing to take 500K. Why not?
Yeah, send it my way. Yeah, exactly. Then I could pay you guys. That's the only way I get money. All right, I need to get rolling. Let's wrap this up. This one has gone over 2 hours. That's pretty good. I'm glad I have the unlimited Zoom. I pay for that because my boys are out of town and we do Zoom calls. And so
Okay.
you don't want to limit it to the 40 minutes. So yeah. Yeah, well actually we'll be going out. Shoot, we'll be going out to Texas and Florida sometime in January. So hopefully all this stuff will be settled.
Definitely.
But I'll
Not at
bring
the
my gear, but I'll
airport.
bring my gear just in case. Yeah. Oh, here. So this, I just saw this too. Tata guy says Rosenthal said Otani already knows where he wants to sign. It's just money at this point. Then make it happen. Go to each team and say, this is what it's going to take. And if only one team takes it, then you take it. But if you want to be a Dodger or you want to be a Mariner, then make it happen. Don't, I don't know. I know you want to get all people want to, the agents want to set the records. And remember, that was kind of a big deal with Boris with Bryce Harper. Oh, it's the longest, most valuable, well, which vanished within a year or
Yeah, I know.
less even.
It just literally happened way too late. Anyways, I'm not trying to wait till like the beginning of spring training for him to sign.
Yeah. Yeah, and teams like the Dodgers, we can't sit there and go, oh, we got to wait till we get Otani before we do anything. No, you got to be aggressive now, of course, because they got the money. Straight up, they've got
Yeah,
the money. Make the moves you want to make. And if like when Freddie Freeman fell in their lap, that was a gift. They weren't
yeah,
looking for that.
yeah. It just landed right there for them.
People thought Dodger Town in Florida for me, please. Yeah, I won't be in Dodger Town. I'll be in Orlando. That's where my son's at. I have not been to Dodger Town. I need to do that one sometime. Maybe I'll work it in when I go to like a drag racing event out there or something like that. I don't even know where Vero Beach is. I just know where Orlando is. That's all I know because that's where I go.
Same here. I've only been to
Yeah.
Orlando.
That's where my son is. So that's where I'm going. That's all that matters to me.
But like I said,
Oh,
I mean, as far as if it's true though that Ken Rosenthal has said that Ortani knows where he wants and it's just the money issue, then it's gonna. That's what I'm saying. If he's here already in LA meeting with those teams and whatever it is, then it's gonna come down to at the end of this week for
it
sure.
has to. Yeah, because
Because
yeah,
there's no other option for him to do.
yeah. I mean, because if let's play a little game, right? So you're Shohei, I'm Andrew Friedman, and you go, Andrew Friedman, here's what I want. It shouldn't be Andrew Friedman, me going, hey, what should we, hey, let's start negotiating. It's a one-way negotiation. I
Yeah.
would think you come to me and you go, this is what we're doing. This is the contract. Are you in
Mm-hmm.
or are you out? Oh, okay. That's right. This guy writes Boris Industries. What the F? Is he a defense contractor? Pretty much. He's probably bigger than a defense contractor.
Probably.
He's part of
Probably.
the AI, the AIG, the Agent Industrial Complex, AIC, the Agent Industrial Complex. Yeah, Boris he's got the biggest machine. And to be honest, I think some of these guys they want to put in the Hall of Fame, I think he has to be under consideration, to be honest.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I've talked to him a couple times. He's interesting, man. He's a smart guy. Because we have a mutual, he's got a guy that I used to coach.
Mm.
Um, but I brought him up when I was covering the Dodgers and I went and saw him. I said, oh, okay, I'll talk about our guy, and he knew all about him just off the top of his head. Started talking about him. So he's got this memory and he knows his guys. So it's pretty cool. Um, yeah, no, he's definitely a unicorn of agents. He's love to have Randy. Yeah, me, and Trinidad. We are on the Randy Arozarena, or as Juan on the Bleed Lows podcast says, Rice Arena. It took me a little bit, and I'm like, huh? Does he not know what his name is? I thought Juan knew ball. Oh, Juan playing the arose thing. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, he
yep,
does. He mixes in a lot of the Spanish stuff.
right.
Um, yeah, their podcast is fun. I like the way he messes with language like that. But yeah, let's end this. Really good to have you on this.
Always a pleasure to be on here.
Hey, maybe especially if some big stuff happens, maybe we could do this again next Sunday.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, pencil it in. Let's see what we'll do. Just to because I'm going to try to do something just about every night. I think though on I think tomorrow or Tuesday I'm doing it with Ryan,
Okay.
and then Wednesday I'm actually going to go see a comedian named Jimmy Carr who's very problematic, my kind of guy. My kind of comedy, because there's no boundaries. You just don't
Right.
sit close. He's one of those guys. If you sit close, he's going to pick on you. I don't want to get on video. Um, and then Thursday night, things there'll be a little bit of a wrap up, but I'll keep going as long as there's some news. But we definitely need to have a good wrap up, and I need to do another of the prospect thing. So I need to, get with you or Steve or whatever, and get the next one. I think the last one was center fielders, so I got two more outfield positions: first base, second base. First base would be fun too. Got Vetrano out there. I
That's
liked
gonna be a
him.
big.
I like that guy. Yeah, good night, everybody. I think we're gonna wake up. I don't know if it's gonna be Dodger news, but I think there's gonna be a passing notification on our phones like at 5 a.m. Remember they are Eastern time too.
Yeah.
I,
So I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna be at work with my phone ready to go. I'll have
I
my
know,
computer on full blast with everything. So,
I know, I
but
know.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always a pleasure, Tim, being on here. You
Yeah,
already know
man.
that we love those exciting news or the what do you call the surprises we get with who makes what trade and anything like that. So
It's gonna be
I mean we're
fun,
all
man.
I mean for sure everybody's waiting on Otani, but let's just say it like this, we got to be ready for what other special names are going to be gone or coming anyway. So
Yeah, because he's pulled a few that have been real surprising in the past.
yep.
So that might be fun. Let's hope. Yeah, I hope he surprises us with a good one, man. He needs it. He needs he. This is the first time, and I said he needs to actually win the offseason this time.
Oh
Usually, I
yeah,
don't care about it.
definitely.
He needs it. He needs a W.
Let's just say like this: as soon as he makes that first one, and if it gets us going, like as far as like, oh snap, it's already becoming. Then you already know that after that,
Yeah.
it's yeah, we're gonna get because like I mentioned the last one before we go. When the news broke out that Aaron Nola turned down the contract that the
Hmm.
Dodgers offered him, then that just obviously shows that they're all in on getting
They're
the
all
guy.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, come on, Aaron Nola 7 years, 165 mil, and the Dodgers offered him God knows what. I
Yeah.
mean,
That was
it
encouraging,
shows
wasn't it?
yeah, so this shows that we're all in on these guys.
Yep. Bring me an ace, man. Bring me an
There's
ace. Bring me a four. And round it out with the rest of our studs, man. But make sure one of them's a lefty.
seriously,
At
you're right
least
about that.
one. All right, man. Thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Any last hellos, goodbyes, or whatever you want to give a shout out to the crowd out here?
Oh yeah, definitely a shout out to everybody who's watching. Obviously, it's a big, confidence in me doing this. Obviously, I love, talking about baseball. Uh, definitely want to give a shout out to Doug McCain though. I always watch your podcast, so just want to give you a big shout out, Doug, and hopefully one day I get to meet you for sure.
We will we're gonna arrange that. We are going to arrange that. Doug, by the way, is in Nashville.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah, I
did
was
miss him
texting
this week.
him. I was texting him today. Go, are you on a plane or what? Yeah, he was on a plane and everything. And yeah, go get Otani and Yamamoto. I'm all in, Eric. I'm all in. But
And
yeah,
just to,
thanks.
shout out to all the viewers though. If you guys ever
Yeah,
want to reach out, just reach out. I'm always available to answer anybody's questions. So don't just think we're just available here on YouTube or on the
yeah,
live
reach.
stream.
Yeah, and we got our Twitters in there. And then yeah, this has been one of our best live podcasts. Just looking at the views, we had 235 views. That's pretty darn good for this channel. And we're getting close to hitting some goals. And so there's going to be some type of giveaway coming up. I think it just depends on the mood that Friedman puts me in. Actually,
Seriously.
I'm trying to think of a giveaway so it's more of a where it's easy to send via like email or Venmo, or something like that versus okay, well, it's a hat and I've got to get the size or things like that. I just trying to figure something out, but I want to at least have something. Or some tickets, which would be kind of cool, but we'll figure something out. But yeah, I appreciate everyone. Thank you again, Trinidad, for being out here. I think it makes everything better when there's two of us versus one. And we really, feed off each other, like they say in the Bible, iron sharpens iron. And so I think we did that. And the chat always brings the game. Thank you, chat, because yeah, they always bring up some great topics. So we appreciate it. So thanks everybody. We have we got the next 4 days to be excited about. So God bless everyone and go Dodgers.
Take it easy, everybody.
There we go. All right, man. Woo!